Okay, we're going live right now. We are now live. Technical difficulty on the last one. We tried to simulcast our stream to also be on playback. It didn't work out so well, but we're back. And this time we're only going to be on YouTube so that same problem doesn't happen again. If you guys sent in the super chat, make sure that you put in your question and just put that you put in the super chat so we can read it.
Yep.
So dead silence in the beginning is what every single podcast starts with.
I'm not against that, but you just got to let us know when you hit the button, so then that way it could be not dead silence.
Before anyone lies, I think Charles Gibson's the only one who sent us a super chat, by the way.
Okay. Okay, you can save it for the show. We are not starting the recording of the pod just yet. Once I hit this big green button and it goes red, then we're gonna be live for the pod.
Okay.
So whenever you guys are ready, when you guys want to do this,
Let's do it, man. First time.
Let's do it. Hello, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with Ripper Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. This is episode 339. In this episode, we are going to go through every game with playoff implications in Week 18. Will the Dolphins choke away the AFC East? Texans versus Colts preview, Packers versus Bears preview, and more. Shout out to everybody in the live stream right now. We had to start the New Year's fresh. We got to start it new. How you guys doing?
I didn't know where you were going.
I ain't
with
saying
that
that shit again, man.
First off, Happy New Year to you, gentlemen. If you guys
man.
catch the first time we were live, we kind of just shared what we did for our New Year's. It was pretty basic.
Pretty
Just
calm.
kind of had the conversation about New Year's kind of being a little bit overrated, but it's a great time. It's a new year. It's a time for you to grow.
New Year, same energy. I'm testing temperature today.
I like that.
I got a few questions that I got to ask
Okay.
about a couple of these playoff teams.
Okay.
And I got some questions to ask about some haters at the table. So
Ooh.
primarily Dehls. But I got some questions I got to ask about some teams. So we're going to get to it when it needs to get to it, for sure.
How you doing, Dels?
Doing good, man. Yesterday was pretty calm. We just
Wake
had
up.
a little house party. I was telling Drew on the way here, I barely drank last night. Like, I drank more water than alcohol for sure, and I still woke up with a headache. I don't know if I'm getting washed or just old or what, bro. But
Turn 26.
turned
Dude's a
26,
grandpa.
yeah, that shit, that was the end of
30.
that.
You've been fighting grandpa allegations for a minute,
I
too.
know, I have. But I really felt it this morning. I was like, bro, I barely even drank. I had a bagel, some water. I'm feeling a bit better. But yesterday was calm, man. It was my first time in a while where I didn't, like, go out and, like, drank and went to a bar or some shit. So it was nice to stay in, you know, with our people and whatnot.
If it was up to me, I would have played the crib. Would have stayed in bed. Would have watched the ball drop with Al. Would have been calm. Alexandra likes to go out. So we went out. We hung out with y'all. We went out to her friend's house. That was fun. But the story I was sharing before we had to shut that down, fantasy football and the championship, like I said, the two biggest leagues I was in. Last year, I won both of these leagues. So I was going for the repeat this year. So the 4 o'clock games, that's when one of my championships was going to end. This is the only story I'm going to tell. So it is a back-and-forth game. I had Devontae Adams, who was I think number 2 scorer on the week, on the bench. I did not start him. I folded. I traded for Austin Eckler. I traded 2 first-round picks. I was like, you know what? I'm going to win this championship with Eckler. He's going up against the Broncos, and our rush defense is not that great. So I had Chase, I had Eckler, and I had Rashee Rice going up against Mahomes, Pacheco, and Travis Kelce. Mahomes and Kelce were pretty mediocre, but Pacheco was on timing. He was insane. And like I said, he did not have Pacheco in the lineup. He just decided to late start him. He started him over Aaron Jones, who had a good game himself, but not as good as Pacheco. So it's a 1-point game just going back and forth, back and forth. Rashee Rice catches that 60-yard bomb. If he would have scored a touchdown, I would have won most definitely. But he gets caught. I'm up 11. But in our league, we do bonuses. So Pacheco gets the 100-yard bonus. He gets 3 points. They keep giving the ball to Pacheco. He keeps getting receptions. That's a point. So it gets back to a 1-point game. I'm winning by a good amount. Then Eckler goes and fumbles the ball. I lose 2 points. Now he's winning by a point. That last drive of the game where last drive of the game where the Chiefs had to score points, where Harrison Butker kicked that field goal. It was 3rd and 7. I'm down by a point. They throw the ball to Rashee. He gets the point, but stops at the 4th, gets stopped on 4th down. They kick the field goal. I go up by 1 and change. I think I ended up winning by 1.1. But then Jake Browning gets the ball on 4th and 18, converts it. So then the Chiefs don't get another chance to get the ball and have to do something to run a little clock. I won by 1.1. Bro, that was one of the craziest games. Nah, bro, his team was amazing.
Well, because CMC,
he got hurt.
Bro,
yep.
How fucking, he wasn't the only one. Everyone across fantasy football, you ride CMC. He's been the best player by far, and by far his worst game is championship week. It's just cruel.
And then the other league that I also won last year, I'm going up against my friend Josh. He had Jordan Love and he had Aaron Jones for the night game. So I had to watch that one, even though I was just like, fuck, I really don't want to. It was up 54. I had Harrison Butker. So every time the Chiefs didn't score, I was lit because Harrison Butker put on a masterclass. He had 6 field goals, 24 points. He was my second leading scorer on my team.
That shit's nuts.
Second leading scorer, which is crazy. So obviously, I'm thinking I'm good. 54 points. Jordan Love's he's been playing some great football. I wasn't anticipating him to play some ball where I'd be sweating. I only won by 9 points. I saw them take out Jordan Love and Aaron Jones, and I started throwing a fucking pizza party. I was tweaking out. So back-to-back champion. I'm the gold standard of what it should be to be a fantasy football player. It's pretty excellent.
Rasheed Rice, man. I tried to tell y'all, man.
I tried to tell y'all. I tried to tell y'all. Shout out to Mojo. Who was my investment of the year early on when it came to the wide receiver? Rasheed Rice.
We're in the championship game still for week 2. We had the second.
And you
week
know, it's
coming up.
funny. It's funny because Joel said, "Hey, why don't we just do this week?" I was like, "Nah, we got to do 2. If we would have played this week, I would have won by .02.
He barely beat me. Yeah, in week 1. And you know, I was thinking about it. I was like, the only reason why Drew's gonna beat me is because I started Jarrett Stidham over Geno Smith. Just to spite Drew, I want to win with Stidham.
I started Bryce Young. So either which way, I
We
got
didn't get much from
I
our
got 3
quarterbacks.
points out of my QB. Yeah. Hopefully Trevor Lawrence plays next week because if not, I'm cooked.
You know, at the start of the new year, I think it's safe to say that some takes stay alive and some takes die. I think after week 17, we can safely say a take died.
Yep.
And I want to give you the honor of erasing Tua for MVP on the whiteboard.
That shit's still
Here
up there.
is the spray.
That's funny.
We're heading into the New Year's without a staple take of the show on the whiteboard.
Time to retire it, man.
And Riv's take stays alive for MVP. Beginning of the season, he had Lamar Jackson. That take stays alive.
Woo! Shout out to Lamar, man.
Oh, yeah.
No, Lamar's like gonna win it. You don't have
Oh,
to
no,
write
you don't
that.
got to write
Lamar,
nothing.
We don't even need a campaign.
Shout out
Just
to
make
Lamar.
sure-
Put it on for the culture, man.
Just make sure you keep it, you clean it real good. So we don't have no traces of marker on that whiteboard.
He could have had it.
Erase
He
all of
literally
it.
he controlled his own destiny.
He
I'll be
controlled
honest.
his own destiny.
The guy's got hurt, man.
Fucking bum. Word.
Well, it's always next year.
I mean, he's controlled his own destiny the past 3 years.
It is always next year.
Gotta say, man, that was tough. That was tough to see. Started off, came out the gates on fire.
They did.
And then what happens?
Shit went left
The
so
MVP
quick.
of the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill,
Yeah, I don't know what
drops
the
a
fuck.
The most
touchdown.
valuable
was
player,
crazy.
they said.
They said that he's
They
the
said-
most
they-
important player, the
He's
most
had,
valuable.
He's had some real just
Best receiver in the
mind-boggling-
world,
He
they
is the
said.
best
Rev, did you
receiver in the
notice how
world.
after
There's
that
also
drop,
insane drops.
everything just went downhill for
know,
the Miami
Drew,
Dolphins? You
You
notice
know what
that?
I noticed, Drew? Every time it's a big game, Reek always finds a way to drop the ball.
I don't want to go that far to say that, but
I was told he's the most valuable player in the team.
that's what I was told,
I was
Riv.
told Mr. 2K, this, that, and they're best receiver in the world. You know,
Is he not the best?
He's
receiver?
still that.
I've seen this. I've seen this story before. You know, Philly game coming through the slant, you know, bobble machine.
Against KC, fumbled the ball.
Tyreek Hill has always dropped the ball.
He
hate
has had a very
hate that.
quiet
Yesterday's
drop
one, though,
problem.
He
was
drops
so
the
insane.
easy ones too.
That
Yeah,
was
that was
right in
yesterday's
the
one
bread
was,
basket. You just catch the ball, touchdown. Now you got some momentum. 2 drives back to back. You score a
need some
touchdown. It's
lotion.
up. Maybe, or maybe he had too much lotion on. That's why hands were a little slippery.
You know, that drop would have put to his stats. You know, he would have been a little bit better in that department. But, you know, we can't forget about the 2 interceptions after that.
You're right.
2 bad ones. PFF charted him with 2 turnover-worthy plays. I counted 3. There was one that should have been intercepted early in the second quarter.
Are you better than PFF? Nah.
Yes.
The one to nice. The one to that Roquan Smith
That
caught
Roquan
one-handed.
Smith
That was
That
just
was
a great
fire.
interception.
That was fire.
Once it was like 35-13,
Nothing
I turned it
mattered
off.
after
I turned it off.
Yeah.
I just could not get myself to watch that game again.
Nothing matters after
But
that.
my God, just the Miami Dolphins season, really, just the last couple of weeks, just destroyed with
How
injury.
confident are you come playoff time?
That's it. That's the conversation that we're gonna get into. If you want me to get ahead of myself, I will. But
Is that the first topic?
it's
What's the first?
You don't have to get
yeah,
ahead
I
of
was gonna
yourself
say.
right
Okay.
now, because before we do go, I do want to tell the audience that starting in the new year, we will be doing something new. And this new thing that we will be doing on Pick a Side is that we will be recording 3 episodes a week. The schedule
Let's go.
will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's why even though there was some reluctance to record this episode after New Year's
there
Eve,
most definitely was.
we made it a priority to record
It'll be like
Monday.
every week probably.
Because we got to start the New Year's off right, but that's going to be the new schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we'll still find a way to record a Patreon episode for you Patreon members every week as well, so you guys will get 4 episodes a month on Patreon if you guys subscribe. So that's going to be the new schedule that we're going with, and I like it. I do. I like recording early. It's 4 p.m. Sorry, 2 p.m. I'm still on West Coast time. It's 4 p.m. right now. I like recording early. It feels good.
Shit, if I
Feels
could,
nice.
I would.
Yeah,
I
quit
know
your
Rick
job,
feels
bro.
the same way.
No, honest to God,
I
if
was
I
like,
could, I
if we get
genuinely
here at
would,
fucking
man.
like 11 every day, bro,
Yeah,
be done
bro.
by like 2. That'd be amazing.
If I can record like 4 o'clock, that'd be dope every day.
Yeah. We gotta try to get here by like 5, so we're not getting out so damn late.
Let's do it, man. Let's talk about what's on the agenda, man. Because I want to talk, and I'm very excited. You know what I'm saying? And I felt a lot of hate at the table, so I want to get into these conversations. Like, I want to really
Hate from who?
just this man on the left side of me, not the left right here, but
I know
more
what you
like
mean.
left over here.
What did he
Like,
say?
My 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
What'd he say?
I don't like the hate, you know, and I feel like
What'd I
it
say?
could be a racial thing. I don't know what is going on, you know.
Could be.
But yeah, it really could be.
Could be.
But I want to talk, you know. I want to have a conversation. So what's the first topic, man? Is it Miami? Can we get into Miami? Can we talk about Miami?
Let's talk about Miami.
Talk about fucking
Because Week 18 is a do or die game for the Dolphins and the Bills. It means much more to the Bills for this reason only. If the Bills lose, they can still miss the playoffs with a Steelers win, who the Steelers are facing the Ravens with nothing.
Probably
They're not
won't,
going to play their starters. So the Steelers could win if the Bills do, in fact, lose the game. And I think the other scenario is that I'm trying to get to it. All I know is that the Steelers got to win.
The Steelers' playoff chances, if they win and the Bills and or the Jaguars lose, they're in.
Yes.
Wait.
So the Bills have a chance to miss the playoffs if they don't win this game Week 18. It's an AFC East division game up for grabs. Winner go home for the Bills, likely. Riv, I mean, I don't know where you want to start. All I know is that at this table, we have kind of been adamant in saying that the Dolphins ain't going to hold on to it. The Dolphins going to choke. We know the Dolphins going to choke.
God, this
I've
just
been saying
feels
it
something about this just feels wrong. Understanding that the
weeks.
Dolphins are just dismantled by injuries.
Shit,
Don't
you
the
guys were
Buffalo
healthy,
Bills,
y'all
didn't
keep
they lose Matt
static.
Milano in this early in the season?
Matt Milano and Trey White definitely huge losses.
Okay.
I think we're gonna go different routes in this Dolphins. I think he's gonna go more.
Lost like
this is
10
Tua.
players the
Yeah,
last
this-
3
yeah.
weeks. 10 players the last 3 weeks is ridiculous.
The Bills lost those early in the season.
For
That's the
sure,
difference.
for sure.
And I
They
think
struggled too, and we
this-
were getting on their ass.
despite the injuries, and it's very unfortunate that Bradley Chubb
a part
is
of the
injured,
game,
Jalen
sadly.
Phillips got
That one
hurt,
Waddle has an ankle sprain.
Waddle
Both in
ankle
garbage
injury,
time.
Tyreek Hill
Both
ankle injury.
Phillips and Chubb in garbage time.
Tua is now dealing with a shoulder. Xavier Howard's dealing with an injury. I mean, this is what franchise quarterbacks are made of, though, right?
Josh is
You know-
also dealing with a shoulder.
Yeah. Josh Allen's also injured right now. we
Everyone's
can't forget
hurt.
that.
Let's keep it a
It's
sec.
week
Every
18,
team is
everybody's hurt.
Every team is hurt.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's a
I don't
fact.
want to hear no injury excuses. I don't. I don't want to hear no
No.
injury excuses.
No.
It plays
Interesting.
a factor into it. But despite the injuries, Vegas has the Bills favored by 3 points.
Okay.
It's a 3-point
That's
spread.
fine.
It's gonna be a
That's
good game.
fine. That's
fine.
reasonable.
That is.
But I mean, let's not act like it's
I'm talking
some,
big picture,
let's
not just this
act
game.
like it's an insurmountable mountain to climb. Beating the Bills week 18, it is not. And
Because
from
either which
all
way,
the
they made the
things-
playoffs.
That's
From-
what I was gonna ask you.
From all the things that you've been saying about the Dolphins and their playoff chances and this and
They're in
that.
the playoffs.
You've been overrating them, and I know you've been overrating them because I don't see it. I've always said this.
Well,
something I
a
don't
lot of what I
trust.
cared about is hurt now. Jalen Phillips out for the season. Bradley Chubb out for the season. Connor Williams out for the season. Raheem Mostert now dealing with some injuries. Jalen Waddle dealing with some injuries. Javon Holland, obviously he came back, but then Xavier Howard now dropping down to injury. You lose Jerome Baker for the season. I mean, this is a team destroyed by injuries at the absolute worst time.
I wanted to ask you, because you guys are in regardless.
That's it.
So
Clinch.
do you honestly care enough about this game in
Yes.
terms of
They do.
Because
Home
I know
field advantage
like
matters.
you mentioned
Miami having to go onto the road versus
Yeah,
Miami
but
in Miami.
you mentioned the big picture matters. You don't want to go to a home game and you're banged up. Instead, like I think it's
I know what you
going on the
mean.
road and you're more healthier as opposed to going at home and you're all fucked up. You know?
I feel you. I think that what matters most to them would be home field advantage in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I feel you.
Listen, you're going to have to go into Baltimore if you're Miami. If you get that far, that's going to be a tough game. But if you can give yourself home field advantage, we know Miami's been one of the best home teams in football. So they have that advantage going into this game in Week 18. But, again, I think that big picture, yes, they already made the playoffs, but you do want to win the AFC East. That's obviously a crown that you take. You know that the Bills have been running it for a little while. It would be a huge W. I think they want it.
It's not the worst thing in the world if the Dolphins lose because it's still make the playoffs. And according to Drew, they'll be facing a fraudulent Chiefs team on the road.
They would be.
Yeah,
facing
in
I
the
feel good
first
about
round.
it. Going
That'd
into
be
Arrowhead,
fire.
tough,
That is a tough
always.
place to
They haven't
play.
lost, right?
I think they have lost.
They got one loss. That was New England. Tom
Was it
Brady.
three?
No,
Was it?
to the Bengals,
The
Yeah.
Bengals.
to Burrow.
I don't want to speak in missing.
They got what? One loss, two losses.
The Dolphins won't be the Chiefs. They
Okay.
won't do
That'd be a
it.
tough game.
I don't even care about the injuries. You can make that excuse. They're not being Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
They're not.
Okay.
Not being Patrick
We're
Mahomes.
back.
Tua's not being Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna have another debacle where the ball slips out of his hands. Something's gonna happen, but they're not gonna win.
I do
We
want to
know
have
that.
some sympathy.
I don't know if we
for
know that.
Miami for sure.
I know
I
that.
appreciate that.
I
Rick.
think, I want to see every team healthy. I want to see every team at
to
their
some it
best.
matters, to some it doesn't.
Oh yeah, and I want to see everybody at their best because I feel like that's when we can see who's better than who gives
Facts.
the real talent. And unfortunately for Miami, they are dealing with some bad
damn.
injuries for sure. But at the same time, Buffalo was dealing with the same injuries in the middle of the year,
True.
and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cared.
You're right.
You still have, if you got your quarterback on the other side who's still a top tier talent, you go out there and you got to get those wins. And I find it's crazy because Miami had this division. They had this division by a couple games, and to be in this position, Week 18, which this has been blooming for some time now. Like, there's a chance where Week 18 the division could be on the line. Miami had opportunity after opportunity to kind of put this division away. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it, whether it be by injury or they just didn't perform up to their ability. It does suck for them because now you go into Miami, which you have that advantage, but with that Bills defense clicking at the right time. The passing game has looked shaky over the past couple games, but the run game has been great. Their defense has been clicking at the right time. They're getting a little bit healthy too. In their depth, not in their stars, but in their depth. I think this is kind of the bad time for Miami to get injured, and now you're going in Miami. Buffalo's defense is fire. You see Rasul Douglas put on the masterclass last game. He's been great for them since he got there. Terrell Bernard, Tyler Dotson, like all these unsung heroes being good for the Bills. It's kind of like bad luck for them right now. I still think they'll have a chance to win that game, of course, but that game, just Week 18, it's so much pressure. That's like a playoff game in itself.
Almost definitely.
Buffalo's been in playoff mode since that Denver game, I feel like. So this is a playoff game in itself. I trust Buffalo to handle it, but that's a game where it's a lot on the line because Buffalo, if they lose, they might not make the playoffs. They have more at stake, not only just the division, not only just, their reputation, but they did fire their OC in the middle of the year. Joe Brady has been good for them. Sean McDermott, I feel like his job is on the line to Week 18. Like, there's just so much on the line for Buffalo as opposed to Miami. Miami got to get it done, though. Like Joel mentioned, I'm not going to give them too much injury excuses because everybody's banged up. Baltimore has been dealing with injuries all year, too. They're the number one seed, so I'm not going to give them too much excuses, but they got to handle business.
The truth of the matter is that in the NFL, players are going to get hurt. It's a violent game. And when you play 17 weeks of an NFL season, there's going to be injuries that pile up. That's why I don't give the Dolphins an injury excuse because, all year long, even towards the back end of the year, Drew, and this is why if you were if you were consistent with giving every team injury excuses, I'd be fine if you did it with Miami.
Which team?
But the truth is,
You know who he's
the
talking about.
Browns have been ravaged by injuries
he's
all
going
year,
Cincinnati.
and you've continued to bash them and disrespect them and act like they're some pretender.
Because their offense. I don't think that Flacco can sustain this.
But Flacco has been doing this. He has been sustaining this.
I agree.
But ultimately, they have
directing that to the wrong guy,
they
but
have
all
an
right,
elite
yeah.
Super Bowl defense.
Are we
Their
in playoff yet?
offense is clicking at the
You wanna
right
play it?
time. What the Browns need is that they need to have a consistent rush attack to complement Flacco just a little
they
bit.
haven't.
Because right now it's too inconsistent. I agree with you. The Browns lost their quarterback. I mean, regardless
of
of
them.
how we think Deshaun
That's
gonna
why
be,
I counted them out. Is that wrong of me?
they lost Nick Chubb. They lost all these guys.
Yeah.
But it's not the way you counted them. It's the disrespect. You straight up counted them out, and you didn't mention, but they're dealing with a lot of injuries. I have sympathy
What do you
towards
mean?
this team.
When-
That's what you
when
did.
they were getting hot. When they were getting hot
Let me
early
finish
on.
my point. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
That's what you did. You were disrespecting every team that did have these injuries, and now with the Dolphins, it's like, if they lose, we gotta just give it up to the injuries. We can't do
Not what I'm
that.
saying.
I don't want to do that at all. Every team's dealing with injuries. The Ravens are dealing with Mark Andrews not being on the field. Their best pass catcher, Lamar, still put up an MVP performance back-to-back on the Niners defense, and then the Dolphins defense, who I've been telling you was fraudulent because they face some Mickey Mouse offenses.
bunch of-
But then
all
when they
injured.
face better offensive, they have gotten
All injured.
exposed. Bradley Chubb got hurt late in the game when the Ravens already put up 56
crazy.
points.
Savion Howard,
I just
Jerome Baker.
I seen this Dolphins defense healthy and still not match up with top offenses. We just saw it with
against
the
the
Ravens.
Cowboys.
And the Dolphins, even despite Waddle and Tyreek Hill dealing with some ankle injuries, I'm hoping they do recover from that because I want to see them fully healthy. The Chiefs fully healthy still can't match up with an injured Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I mean, the Chiefs fully healthy offensive arsenal is still worse than a hobbled Tyreek Hill
I
and
agree.
Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins. Every team right now is dealing with injuries. The Dolphins have choked the AFC East. They had a comfortable lead. And the fact that the Bills even have a chance to win this division is crazy. They lost to the Patriots. They lost to the Broncos. I mean, what are we doing? The Bills should be out of it. We was talking about the Bills not making the playoffs. The fact that they're in it in Week 18 to win a division is a testament to how badly the Dolphins have choked down the stretch. Mainly being the Titans game. All they needed
That's
to
it.
do was beat the Titans.
That's it.
If they
It's the
beat
Titans
the
game.
Titans,
That's the one.
they're
Because they
clinching
beat the
this division.
Cowboys that
Yeah,
people
that's the
thought they
one.
couldn't do
That's the
either.
one.
So it's choking that game versus the Titans was bad.
So I think it's a terrible look that the Dolphins have went out in this fashion to the end of the season, but I'm not surprised. It's happened the last 3 seasons. what I tell you, I mean, Dehls, what did I tell
They
him
made the
2 weeks
playoffs
ago?
last 2 years.
2 weeks ago I told
They're a
you.
playoff team 2
Last year
years
they
in a
made
row.
it. 2 years ago they did not.
No, they made it last year, and they're
They
making
made
it this
they
year.
made it this year, yeah.
2 years in a
you
row.
correct. I told you 2 weeks ago. The Dolphins, they're gonna find a way. They're
It's
gonna
like you're
go
talking
1 and
like
2
they're
in
not
this last
making the
2 stretch.
playoffs.
Oh no, they're making the playoffs, but
They already locked.
I mean, they're not gonna go far though.
He did say
I
division.
know they're not gonna go far.
Listen, they still can win the division. I'm just saying you're talking like this choke job is them not making the playoffs.
No, the choke job is them losing the division. That's the choke job.
That I think I've been saying it all season long. Miami is the most important team to me that needs home field advantage. I heard a stat today. Mike McDaniel is 2-9 when it's under 60 degrees outside. I don't like Miami in inclement weather and cold weather, rain, sleet, snow, having to go to Kansas City versus being in a home game against was the biggest game to his career. The Ravens game was the biggest game to his career, and now we have this Buffalo game because if Tua loses this game, right, going up against Buffalo, and now you're going onto the road to KC, and if we could live in both hypotheticals, we live in the hypothetical where they lose against Buffalo and they lose against KC, you're going to have a whole offseason of probably topics and discussions you don't want to have, Drew. And then next season when Tua, inevitably, I know the first couple months because he did it last year, is going to have crazy MVP-type seasons, we're all going to sit up here and be like, we don't really care because we've seen Tua do this now for 2 seasons in a row. And when it comes down to it in December, when the games really matter, he hasn't been able to show up. Now we can live in the other world where Tua goes out here in Buffalo, he wins, they have a home playoff game, he could win his first playoff game, maybe you could go onto the AFC Championship because the AFC outside of Baltimore, I don't really look at any team as like unbeatable by any means. Even Baltimore has some weaknesses I think can be exposed, although they've been playing probably the best football of the season so far. But this game is huge for Tua. I don't know how confident you feel about going into KC. Don't know how confident you feel about this Buffalo game. I know you're going to ride with Tua. You're going to ride with your guys. I respect you for that. But I just think that the conversations that are going to be had around Tua's name, especially in an offseason where he's probably going to get extended. He's probably going to be looking for that franchise quarterback type money, looking for that $200 million plus type money. And Joel made a good point to start. Like, the injuries are bad, right? Everyone's injured, but how bad these injuries are: torn ACLs, torn Achilles for your top edge rushers. Of course, Jalen Waddle dealing with a high ankle sprain, expected back for the playoffs, but I don't think he's going to be playing this Buffalo game. Mm-hmm. This is where the franchise quarterback's got to step up, right? This is where, when you're paying that guy $200 million, like, listen, your number 2 wide receiver's out. You're missing some dudes defensively. You still got Tyreek. Of course, Mike McDaniel was still regarded as one of the best offensive play callers in the league, although that Titans game was a little skeptical. This is when you need that franchise quarterback to step up. He has the opportunity once again, because that Tennessee game should have got it done. This shouldn't even be a conversation, but he has a chance to really see the conversation go 2 separate ways. Either you get this done against Buffalo at home, 3-point spread, so we're not expecting a blowout. Either way, this is a game either team can win. But if you lose, I just want you to know the conversations, not that I'm going to start them, but the conversations you're going to see out here, I'm sure the conversations at this table as well, they're not going to be fun ones that you want to have.
And also, we mentioned all the injuries to the skill position players. We don't talk about the injuries on the offensive line either. And we understand what Tua's skill set is. He's a pocket passer. And that's not a knock to him, if you want to call that a knock, because he's not one that's going to extend out of structure. I feel like we look at the top guys like a Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, and I feel like they kind of clouded our judgment to what we've known in the past of pocket passers being able to thrive in this league. But it all begins and ends with how solid your offensive line is. Robert Hunt's been dealing with injuries all season long. Connor Williams has been injured. It's really gotten to the point where, can you rely on Teron Armstead? You've said this to me in the past. You really can't. You gave him all this money for a guy who, for basically his entire career, has struggled to stay consistently on the field, but you know his impact when he's on the field. He is one of them ones. But I still look at it and think, hey, I understand where you guys are coming from. I still believe that Tua can still get a job done. But the injuries are all at the worst positions at the worst time. And I do think that going against the Buffalo Bills will not be an easy task, like it wasn't an easy task against Dallas, and definitely not an easy task against Baltimore. But there's still an opportunity that the Miami Dolphins can win that game. The Bills definitely are playing some solid football. Riv, you mentioned it. Their pass offense has not been that great. Stephon Diggs very quietly has had a disappointing season. Towards the second half of the season, I should say, because he started off insane,
His
but
last
really
9 games ain't been
not good. The pass offense really has not been as prolific. It's been really primarily the run game. We saw James Cook. We've seen the way that Josh Allen gets when he's around that goal line. He's a menace. But the last 2 games, I haven't been overly impressed by their offense against the Chargers and against the New England Patriots, who are a really solid defense. So there is an opportunity for the Miami Dolphins to win this game. Conversations we'll save for after that Bills game, but just acknowledge the idea that, yeah, every team's dealing with injuries, but the Dolphins are dealing with injuries at every single level, and it's also some of the best players that they have in the game.
The Browns' offensive line is hobbled. They're injured. Nick Chubb is hurt. We just mentioned the quarterbacks. Myles Garrett's been dealing with injury.
Mark Cooper missed last
Let me
game.
ask you a question. This Dolphins offensive line injured, is it still better, would you say, than Joe Burrow's offensive line when he went to the Super Bowl?
It depends.
The way the Dolphins offense runs too is
I
it
knew
can
he was
hide.
gonna get back to
I do
him.
think the Dolphins offense can hide a bad offensive line better than what the Bengals did.
But I'm
'Cause
just
you get
saying,
the ball out so quick in Miami.
the offensive line that Joe Burrow took to the Super Bowl, that was legitimately a garbage offensive line. Tua, with injuries to the offensive line he's having, it's going to take a step back. It's not garbage. It's still an average unit, maybe slightly below average
Austin
now.
Jackson's been awesome.
But it's still an average unit. Robert Hunt has been
With all the injuries,
in and out, but Robert Hunt
I don't know
is
if I
still
go average.
good. Austin Jackson has been good. Teron Armstead,
Austin's been
when he's
awesome.
playing, he's good. I mean, they still have good offensive linemen there. So from everything that you've told me in the past that Tua will be better than Joe Burrow, then
He's had a great season.
he should. Well, he's
Tua
not
did-
better than Joe Burrow
Tua did have a great
regardless.
season.
Then Tua in the playoffs should advance. He should win a playoff game or 2 if you're telling me he's on par with Joe Burrow despite the offensive line issues.
Do I get Waddle?
He's expected to play for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm asking, do I get
I don't
You
know
get
if
Tyreek Hill and Waddle.
You're probably getting Waddle at 80%.
Do I get him healthy?
He's probably going to be 80%.
Do I get Mostert?
Here's my thing with
Probably.
that.
Mostert should be fine, I think.
And here's my thing, because you brought up Cleveland. My only thing with Miami and Cleveland, the conversations have just been the conversation never made sense to me, because you trust Miami's offense. You trust Mike McDaniels. You trust that Tua is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco, for sure. Of course, nobody's ever denying that. But there's never no actual evidence to back up why you trust Miami's offense more than Cleveland's. Because Miami's offense has not showed up in a big game all year. It has not. That's a fact. That's not a fiction. That's a fact. Cleveland's offense is not good. I've never once said it's good. But what they have shown to do is win big-time games, regardless of what their offense is doing, what their defense is doing. They've shown to muck it up, get together, make some big plays, and win those games.
What big game with Joe Flacco have they won?
The Jaguars. Almost a month ago.
I'm just talking about the Browns in general.
They beat the Ravens this year.
I'm talking about the Browns in general.
But with Joe Flacco.
They beat the Ravens.
Because we have to evaluate the Browns as they are right now.
Is Joe Flacco not better than PJ
Joe
Walker?
Flacco has been by far and away
Ravens
their best.
game was Deshaun,
but
man.
I'm only talking about where the conversation of
Deshaun
me
probably
being
the best.
disrespectful would be. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying we're talking
But they beat the Bears, they're playing solid football.
They
beat the
almost
Jaguars.
lost.
Who?
The Bears. They
But they
had to
won.
come back.
Yes.
They did. And Joe Flacco was lit. Give him that credit. Against the Texans, without a CJ Stroud. Against the Jets, they had an insane first half.
didn't do
Second
shit
half,
second.
36 passing yards, I believe.
He didn't have to do much.
He didn't have to do anything, especially when you're going up against that Jets offense. And that Cleveland Browns defense is elite. But with Joe Flacco, I look at that Jaguars game. That Jaguars game is the one where you say, hey, this is a playoff team. Joe Flacco played some really solid football.
I don't even think it's a Joe Flacco
Defense
thing,
played
though.
great.
You just look at the Browns all year. They've been able to get wins.
You're right.
And
I think
with
that's a good
Miami, y'all
point.
haven't. There's the only thing you can say is, I just trust that because Tua's a better quarterback than Joe Flacco. Tyreek's the best receiver in the world, Jalen Waddle. I just trust them to do it. But there is no fact or there's no statistical evidence that you can bring up that says
They
you
played
trust
well
Miami
against
more than
Dallas.
Cleveland.
They played well
play-
against
Yeah,
Dallas.
I mean,
Here
they beat Dallas,
Is where I'll
which is
disagree
the
with you,
only
Rick.
good win.
I disagree.
I understand, but that was also last week.
Yeah,
Like, we
that's a
can't
good
pretend
point.
like this was moons ago.
Yeah,
this
that's
was
Dallas
just
on,
last
that's
week.
Dallas on the road.
Okay.
They're two completely different
And this
teams.
was Miami on the road, which is completely different team as well, right?
They're cooking.
But I don't want to feel that way.
No, you should.
The
But-
truth
I
is
mean-
now these teams are really going to make a run in the playoffs.
Let's just get something. Let's just get something
Cleveland
straight.
or Miami would be in the AFC Championship
Oh, no, I
game.
thought you were talking trash on
They can make
Dallas.
it to, they can make it to the second
I mean
round.
Dallas too.
They can make
Huh?
it to the second round.
Let's get
Who?
something straight.
Cleveland.
I
Play the
don't
Jags
think-
round one. Yeah, possible.
I don't think believing in the Dolphins over the Browns is crazy, because I think if you were to look at both rosters on paper, you would think the Dolphins have
I
a
didn't
better
say that
team.
one time.
I know you didn't say that, but that's the
saying
only
offense.
that's the only point
But
I'm disagreeing with you on. What I want to say is two things really.
Oh, my God.
I think even without looking at the primetime wins the Browns have not had with Joe Flacco thus far, you can still look at Joe Flacco and see how he's playing, and he's playing some of the best ball of his career. He is confident.
So reckless.
He's
He's
throwing the
turning the
ball
ball
down. He's
over.
throwing.
So reckless.
He's turning the ball over, but he's throwing the ball down the field versus a Jets defense that we all acknowledge as an elite unit. He had nearly 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. I mean, Joe Flacco
was tough.
is playing some amazing football
Jets
right
have
now.
also allowed 30-plus points 3 straight games now.
I know.
Defense
I'm
kinda
telling
falling
you, our
apart.
defense is giving up to an extent. That's why Tua had a great game against him too. But
Both times?
I'm saying Joe Flacco is playing some great football right now. From what I'm seeing, when you look at the numbers, is he a little bit reckless? Yes, that's what you can expect from a player who just came off his mom's couch a month and a half ago. But he's playing some good football, and the level that he's playing at gives the Browns a chance given their defense. Their offense doesn't need to be world beaters because we know that is a Super Bowl caliber defense. Their defense is the one that's going to keep them in games. Number two, and I think for all your criticisms or not trusting Cleveland, you could use the same thing for the Dolphins, which is why I don't trust the Dolphins, because I've seen them in big time moments not live up to the moments. You trust them because you're a fan of Tua. the same way you trusted Daniel Jones, the same way you trusted Russell Wilson. You're a fan of this guy. That's why you trust the Dolphins. But off of objective evidence, the Dolphins have not lived up to the moment. The big games that they've been in, plus 500 teams. I mean, how many games have they won against those teams? They have not won. They've won one. This was the Dallas game,
which was last week.
And
you
was
mentioned
close.
me being a fan of people.
You just got your ass whipped last night.
No, definitely. But hey, you know, I'm not one to take a consolation prize. That's never who I am. Ravens have done this to every great team that they faced.
Guess who beat the Ravens?
It's a division game. Great win. Great win. Great win. Pittsburgh also beat them.
Yeah, well, Pittsburgh beats. They're weird.
Colts also beat them.
Colts.
You know what
we
I'm saying?
can't prop up the Ravens and then act like the Browns win against them does not matter.
I'm not doing that.
We have to acknowledge
I'm saying it's a
and respect
division
that
game.
victory.
It's definitely one that can be had.
Every quarterback Cleveland's had is reckless. Like PJ, DTR,
The one who
Deshaun.
I wouldn't call Deshaun.
Nah, Deshaun was reckless.
I think he was actually too careful, which is why he looked not
Reckless
that
in
great.
the sense of they turn the ball over a lot.
I know what
And
you're
the only
saying.
difference between Flacco is he's just probably more efficient than all of them, even though he does turn the ball over a lot. Like him and Coop have actually a really great relationship on the field, which is kind of crazy.
All right, listen, you
He
could
broke
say
the
that I'm a
record,
fan of
receiving
Tua,
record.
Yeah.
and that's the main reason why I believe in him. But at the same time, he has some of the best numbers of any player this season. And there's a reason why you made me erase this today and not last week. Because this week, obviously, the conversation was dead. Lamar Jackson, 3 incompletions, 5 touchdowns. An MVP performance, put it to bed, no doubt. But he's been playing some amazing football all season long. He's been showing me all year, and not just me, the rest of the world, that he is an upper echelon quarterback. If you don't trust him in big moments, he has definitely, outside of that game versus Dallas, not risen up against the upper echelon teams. But again, that game versus Dallas was last week. So I'm still going to stay optimistic. That's where my trust lies. It doesn't have to do with me being a fan. I definitely am a fan of Tua's, but on top of it, he's done a lot to put bases into my claim.
And
I don't think
the Dolphins can run the ball. I think that's a big factor too. Like we're talking about Tua a lot here, but Miami's had one of the
It's a
best
fact.
rushing offenses all season
That's
long.
what I'm saying. It's not like the Dolphins, even with the injuries, are out for dead.
I agree.
Like,
That's
they
what I'm
still got
saying.
they still got
I'm
a
saying.
interception
chance.
and had 100-something total yards in the first half.
That's why I didn't like that you came up here and try to throw a stop story for the Dolphins like it's over.
All I said was that, have you seen a team get riddled with injuries
Yes, there
in
have
the
been
last
multiple
3
teams
weeks?
in the
Right before the season, right before the playoffs are about to start?
Didn't
We have seen a
that
ton
year
of
the
teams get
Raiders
injured.
lost Derek Carr right before the playoffs.
You lose a
Like-
quarterback is definitely
They had to
going to
play like
ruin an
Connor
entire
Cook or some
team.
shit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But
I hated that for them.
They
was his
they
MVP
lost
year.
almost 8 to 10 players in the last 3 weeks.
No, yeah.
And just to set the record straight, I would have had you erase that after week 5. You the one that kept that up there this
To be
long.
fair,
After last week, there was the conversation.
What did I say after week 5? I told him he's not winning.
Okay.
We know he's not
even though
winning.
even though there
Again,
was
you
no
had the
basis,
field. You had the field.
there was no
versus
basis.
Tua.
There was no argument. It was just saying Tua won't win.
Yeah.
He'll find a way to screw up. He has been saying that basis.
And
since the start of the
again,
season.
after last week versus the Cowboys, we all came into this week with the idea this was the MVP game. It's Tua versus Lamar. Whoever's going to win this will probably have to be the odds-on favorite to win the MVP.
We knew who was going to win, though.
Okay, you could say that. Yes, you guys were right.
You
Lamar
have picked the
Jackson's-
Dolphins every game this year. I don't
And
think you
I
have.
don't blame you for that.
I'm 11 and
I don't blame
5.
you for that.
I'm 11 and 5.
I've picked Philly
That's
every
not-
week.
It's not a
I don't
bad
blame you for
record.
that.
I have a winning record.
What are you? You were a fan of Philly, right?
You're cooking.
And
I mean, I
what I
think I
said,
pick
you're a
Buffalo.
fan.
But
I
again,
pick
I'm
Buffalo
11.
almost every week.
I'm 11 and 5. That's not a bad record. I think that they're going to go up against good teams.
You'll be 11
They
and 6,
lose. I live with being wrong.
You'll be 11
If
and
you
6.
haven't picked against a team all year long, bro, even when the teams have been better than them,
I've only picked against the Chiefs one time, and that was against the Broncos. That was it. I've
This
picked
year?
I've
Twice.
picked.
So twice. I think you picked Denver
I
twice.
you picked the Bills against the Chiefs.
Oh, I was right.
You picked the
I was
Eagles
right.
against the Chiefs.
You're right again.
And I was right. Okay,
Yeah, you were right.
interesting.
Yeah, but no.
So
you
when I
have-
pick against them, I have some conscious
You
mind.
cooking,
Fair.
you cooking.
Eagles, I haven't picked against. Niners, I picked against once. I haven't
No,
made
you
that
did
mistake.
pick against Eagles.
No,
picked
it's
Dallas
the
the
Niners.
second
I'm
time.
saying the
Oh,
Eagles.
yeah.
I definitely know I did.
No, but I'm saying is that like you picked against Chiefs because you went into those weeks and you were like, well, these teams feel better
They
than
do.
the Chiefs right now.
Mhm.
There have been plenty of weeks where teams have felt better than
Like
Miami,
when? Fandom,
like the
though.
Ravens just beating the Niners, and then
they just
did you not
they
pick the
just came
Dolphins
off-
because you was like, I'm just doing this for script reasons because Tua, I want Tua to be MVP.
because they just beat the Dallas Cowboys, one of the best teams in football. And I thought you could keep riding the momentum, go and win this game against Lamar, especially with the
He's also
Lamar
a fan.
and Baltimore, and win this game, obviously.
Listen, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't like some 10-point spread. It was a lot of people thought it could go either way. I mean, 3 people here thought the Ravens over the Dolphins.
Listen, he's a fan.
Listen, last week, 3 people thought that the Cowboys would beat the Dolphins.
That's a fact.
For sure, 100%.
No,
I was right there
not
with
me.
you.
I picked the Cowboys in that one.
That's what he
I
said.
know. I picked
Yeah.
the Dolphins in that one.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Check it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I picked the Dolphins because why? Even though
I picked the Cowboys.
I've been
I thought
anointed
we
a
all
Cowboys
picked
fan on
Dallas.
this table, I said the Dolphins can run the football, and the Cowboys just got
The
obliterated by the
Dolphins' offensive
run.
line just went out.
I was
You
going
sure?
to say, the Dolphins really didn't run the football that much against the Cowboys.
They didn't, and I was wrong on that point, but I still picked the Dolphins to win. I have the
So everybody at the table was picking Buffalo except you.
Probably. I'm taking Buffalo. I'm pretty confident Joel will, and we know where you're going, Riv.
Yeah.
Never know.
Interesting.
I had the Dolphins in that game.
You're taking my.
That's what I'm saying. I thought they was going to lose the
Ron-
Ravens
Ron-
in week 18.
I guess I put the perfect season of taking Miami just
Have
because
fun, man.
I have no problem with that.
What season was it? The 72 season that they went undefeated, or was it another season?
72.
72. Wow.
Shout out to those Dolphins,
Okay.
man.
All
Only team
right.
ever.
Close. I'm taking the Bills in this one.
Oh, well, let's save it for the pick'em.
Well, we're gonna do the pick 'em regardless. Or the Patreon
they know
episode
where
this
we're
week could
going.
be something else. I mean,
Why?
because the pick 'em, we're already at the end of the season.
Let's get the last one out of the way.
There's only like 3 games that matter this week.
Won't even cap. They know who we're picking. Let's.
Yeah,
I know. I'm taking Buffalo here, too.
but I think the Bills are very beatable. Like you mentioned, Josh Allen has a shoulder injury. They've been running the ball with him much more. They barely beat the Chargers. They barely beat the Patriots, even though the score may look like it was otherwise. This is a very beatable Buffalo team, but I still got the Bills. I just feel like it's a high leverage situation, and if I'm taking between Josh Allen and Tua, I think that's a pretty easy.
I don't even think it's
Pick for him,
picking Josh Allen or Tua. It's more like just like Buffalo as a team has been good.
He tries to make you quarterback first.
Yeah,
quarterback.
like Josh
Respect
hasn't. I love Josh to death. He has been good. He's been
Usually
dealing
what it
with
comes
injury
down to.
for sure. But I think like just as a runner, their passing get like Diggs hasn't been in tune. They've been dropping some passes the last 5-6 weeks. But their run game and that defense, man, like that can cause some serious trouble for Miami. Like if they can get to Tua, which they did the first time they played.
My biggest concern for this upcoming week would be Miami's defense. With the way that they've been getting destroyed with injuries, you lose your top 2 edge rushers.
Sorry, are we not doing pick 'em for all the games then?
That's what I'm saying.
We could do it, but I think that the the Patreon episode this week should be something else. Just
Okay.
whatever. We can find a topic.
I don't know. Because I said a couple weeks ago, because week 18, it's tough to predict who's going to play.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Cool.
Yeah, and I got Buffalo in here.
Should be
I
a
want
good
to
game.
talk about Cleveland though. Riff's been talking spicy on my name, talking a lot of shit over there.
You be lying.
I really don't think I lie.
I don't like your logic, and I think it's because you hate defensive-minded teams.
I don't think
Okay.
Cleveland's a
And-
defensive. They have an offensive minded head coach.
They are
No,
defensive-minded,
defensive-minded team. I said, not coach.
Or I should say
Cleveland-
that it's
Cleveland's a defensive-minded at the
Defensive
moment.
led.
Defensive
They're
led.
defensive
Yeah,
led.
okay.
Okay.
That's what I
defensive-led teams. That I
If they
think
had a
you don't
defensive
like.
head coach, I'd be all the way out. But Stefanski, I think, is a good coach.
You see what I'm saying? You see
Nah, that's real. That's
Yeah.
real. I
Bro, you
respect the
think keep it a stack.
consistency.
Joe Flacco's doing this. Like, I think the worst misconception out there is the Jets should have got Joe Flacco.
I
There's
never
not
said
a
that.
chance in God's name
But
Joe
I think-
Flacco's doing this
But I
with
think
Nathaniel
you're
Hackett in this line.
You think he needs to put on 350 and 3 TDs to win games? He doesn't need to do
either
that.
200 and 2
He can
tugs.
put 180 yards, 2 TDs, and just don't turn
The
the
thing
ball
is, we
over.
haven't seen him.
I would
do
say
that.
Joe Flacco, they've been dropping back more than anybody.
But this is
in the
my
league.
issue with Dell's logic. He hasn't seen a couple teams do what the Browns are doing, yet he still trusts them more. Why? Because the idea of their offense.
I just said if how it stands right now, Cleveland would go into Jacksonville round 1. I would take Cleveland.
Really?
Yes.
I agree.
I so don't
I would
fucking
too.
believe you.
I would too. Who would pick the Jaguars?
The Jaguars, another team ravaged by injury, by the way.
Who?
But then the next
Their
round, you're
offensive
playing
line-
KC or you're playing
Their
Miami
offensive
or
line
you're
was
playing
bad
Buffalo.
already.
I
Is
think
on
you're cooked.
IR.
Why are they
Ravens?
cooked against Miami? Why are they cooked? What makes them cooked?
I think at some point, to use your phrase, Joe Flacco is going to turn the ball over. He's going to have too many turnovers. The run game is going to be too inconsistent. And I think one of these other teams that I actually trust are going to be able to win.
Okay, so why do you trust Miami winning Cleveland? My point.
Miami would be last on that list.
He just
Miami
is fake.
Miami would be last on that list, but I think Miami in this case they would be home, right? If they win the division. If it's on the road, if it's in Cleveland, I think that's a lot closer.
You still would take Miami.
Miami could run the ball, one of the best rushing attacks in the league. The defense, though, with these injuries, it would be closer.
Trying to
I'd have
convince
to
yourself
see.
so bad.
I have to see.
You
I
think
have
the
to talk
Browns are a
myself
top
through it.
contender?
No, I don't think Miami's a top contender though. I think they're realistically there's Baltimore,
So who are the top teams in AFC to you? Contention. wise?
Baltimore, and then you got the Chiefs, Bills, I guess you could try to get Miami in there, you know. But
I think
everybody else, honestly,
It's the Ravens, everyone else
It's
type.
Baltimore and then everybody else. Like everybody's in the same boat right now.
if you think the Browns are like the fourth best team in the AFC, I think that's considered kind of a dark horse.
I feel like everybody can be. I feel like you can convince yourself, except like almost everybody in the AFC is a dark horse.
Well, the Bills are a dark horse. Well, depending on who wins, it's a little bit of a difference.
I think most people have Bills the second best team in the AFC.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So that's why I really wouldn't consider them a dark horse. So
Cleveland's a dark
You're
horse.
right.
I think
Miami
Miami's
got
more
the
dark
Dolphins
Dolphins
horse.
is
than
not a
Buffalo.
dark horse because the Dolphins have been one of the top teams in the AFC.
The Dolphins
for
would
the
be
entire year.
considered the third or fourth best team in the AFC.
The Jaguars are a team that you consider
it's
a dark horse because the public opinion on them
Yeah, it's a
has
fact.
fell a lot. I think the top teams in the AFC are the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, Dolphins, whichever one you want to group, and then the Browns. I think
So the Browns would be a dark horse.
the thing about the Browns, they're dangerous. They're kind of like the Rams in the NFC, where if you're kind of ahead of the curve a little bit, you look at the Rams in the NFC and you say that they can compete with anybody in there and they're playing at a high level. They're the number one offense in the league when Stafford, Kyron, Puka, and Kupp are all on the field at the same time. With the Browns, it's very matchup dependent because that defensive line facing, you mentioned the Dolphins' hobbled offensive line, that's a bad matchup for them. Like, they can really get into that backfield. The Browns' defensive line is going to pose a mismatch against anybody they play because of
Browns
the
beat the
defensive
Chiefs?
line.
Going into Arrowhead.
That one is like
But again, that defense is going to cause problems for Mahomes.
it
The
is.
Chiefs
but
are beatable.
they're beatable,
Super
but the thing, this is the difference
You'd
between
be a
the
fool to
but
doubt the Chiefs.
this is what the difference between the Chiefs at home and Miami is home. The Chiefs at home are damn near undefeated in the playoffs. They have Mahomes. They still have Andy Reid. They have an elite defense. And on top of that, you just trust Mahomes with what we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years in the playoffs. With Miami, it's still a wild card. You don't know what they are in the playoffs.
What, 6 field goals from Bucker, or was it 5
Six.
yesterday to beat
6.
Jake Brown?
And that's a
forget
game.
it.
And that's a game
I'll
that they
never
can
forget
win. They can win those 16-7. They've shown they can win those
Shout out to
those
Harry
games.
Cleveland.
We've seen the Browns defense get gashed in the run before.
For sure.
The Chiefs, this is not the same team as last year, even despite the personnel looking similar. This team cannot generate explosive plays. So the way the Chiefs are going to win in the playoffs is playing elite defense, and they have to run the ball, and Mahomes has to make a couple plays a game. You have to play it safe because you just don't have the wide receivers that can beat consistent press coverage, and Mahomes doesn't really trust these guys to drop back 40 to 50 times a game. So the Chiefs' recipe to win is much like the Browns' recipe to win right now. You're playing elite defense, and you make just enough plays offensively. The Browns, the reason why I think they're really dangerous is because Joe Flacco, I think, is playing at a level that is sustainable. I think he can play good. I think he can play good enough. The mistakes might be there, but I think he'll make high-level throws because he's really been slinging and he's always had a very powerful arm. David Njoku, one of the best tight ends in the league. Amari Cooper
crazy.
is having the best season of his career. So they have weapons on the outside. What they need to get locked in is just their running game. So Flacco doesn't have to do it because if you're asking him to backpack, I agree. I don't trust the Browns beating anybody. But if you can have this offense playing cohesive and together, then the Browns are dangerous. Their defense is going to keep them in every game. Their defense is going to make it a 3-point game at the end of the game and Flacco got to drive. That's how great their defense is. And I think a lot of teams in the AFC are they fall into that bracket. And every team outside of the Ravens right now, because they've been so great in the regular season, every team outside of them can beat each other. It's just about game script at that point.
The Browns defense, when they're playing not terrible teams, I mean, they gave up 29 to the Broncos, 36 to the Rams, 27 to the Jags. It's really been these last 3 weeks, but Chicago, who has been better, Texans backup quarterback, 22, Jets, obviously worst offense in football, 20 points. So, I mean, they definitely, matchup-wise, again, going up against some bad offensive lines, they could cause some problems in the backfield, being able to pressure the quarterback, Mahomes, Tua, just 2 offensive lines that have been struggling. But I do think that it's not impossible to move the ball against them. They've shown some weaknesses, and to be fair, some of those weeks were also you had some injuries to Ward, to Myles Garrett as well. But I agree, Riv. Like I just think we get lost because I see a lot of people like we're using this word dark horse. I don't see them as this team that's going to get out of the AFC. Like
That's fair.
I have more faith in the Rams and the NFC because I see them do it 2 years ago. I trust Stafford and McVay more than Flacco and Kevin Stefanski. And, of course, I like their run game a hell of a lot more. Kyron Williams is having a breakout season. top 2 or 3 in rushing this year. And Jerome Ford's also got banged up there in that Jets game, so he should be fine. But Jerome Ford banged up plus Kareem Hunt. I don't really love that backfield, and that's just more pressure on Joe Flacco, which, again, my statement's out there on Flacco. He's playing well. He's being this gunslinger. I get all of that. But if this defense is as good as it's shown throughout the season, some hiccups here and there, I would rather the quarterback just be able to kind of game manage its way, have some moments, but I can't have the 2-3 turnover games because then you can put more pressure on that defense.
And I'll say this to you, Riv. I've been very consistent about my stance on the Browns, but
Hilarious.
There also needs to be where I have given you guys your respect. I think Kevin Stefanski should be and will be the coach of the year. To go through the injuries that you did on the offensive side of the ball, to still be a double-digit win team, to be in the playoff picture already, to lock your spot in. Kevin Stefanski is my coach of the year. You guys do have one of the best defenses. But when it comes down to it, I just look at other teams and I feel more confident about them. When it comes to these types of conversations, where we are right now, it's about that end goal, which is ultimately getting to the big game or the AFC Championship game, which is what should be the goal for all teams come start of the season. But that's where I have my difference in opinion. I don't see them as being that team. They are a great team, an amazing story this season that you've been right on a good amount. But when it comes down to the bigger picture, I don't see it.
You can't see any scenario.
What scenario is this?
Here's the scenario, and you guys won't like it. Here's the scenario.
AFC Championship?
To get there.
Okay.
Right, here's the scenario. They have to play either the Chiefs or the Jaguars. One's way more beatable than the other.
They can't beat the Dolphins.
Okay, let's throw the Dolphins in there too.
We're
Fine.
just saying round 1 matchup.
Yes, round one
Round
matchups.
1, I think it's basically locked because they're basically locked.
They're
5
basically
seed.
a 5 seed.
So all right, so it's going to be 4-5. So it's going to be the Jaguars or the Texans or the Colts versus the Browns. That's probably a W. That's probably a W. Next round would probably be the 2 versus the 5. Or I'm assuming that's what it would be. So that would probably be either the Dolphins or the Bills versus the Browns. Okay?
They can be both teams.
Possible, right? Maybe.
It's like a.
Do you
30-35.
Would you pick the Bills or would you pick the Browns?
I'd pick Bills.
I would pick the Bills. Would you pick the Bills or would you pick the Browns?
I pick the Bills.
Bills, correct? Okay, now AFC Championship would probably be.
It was the Dolphins though. If it was Browns Dolphins,
I would pick the Browns.
That's your hatred. You call me a fan, you're a hater.
I really don't think that's hatred.
It's not hatred. I just mentioned the
I don't think that's
defensive
crazy.
line. It's gonna cause
Because
problems.
Rip basically called me out and said why, and I'm sitting here, I'm thinking he's got a point.
Yeah,
like the
if you
Browns
really think
could-
about it, it's
just because the
you
line
take Miami
is beat
because they're
up.
talented. Of course.
Miami's defense is falling apart, sadly.
That's what I'm saying. The
Breaking my heart.
defense, you're getting hurt at the wrong time, and that Browns defense, like they're gonna be able to rush the passer. They're
So
gonna
I
be
can
able,
be realistic.
and we've
It'll be a
seen-
great game.
We've seen if you could pressure
Might be
Tua
it's a
and you
nasty-
could get him
yeah.
to sit in that pocket for longer than 1 second, 2 seconds. Now he's going through. I don't trust that.
If that
offense
becomes
to
a
do
nasty,
much.
ugly game, you're not taking Miami. Like if that's like a 16-17 nasty, rugged game. You're
Dallas,
taking Cleveland.
Saw Miami win an ugly game versus Dallas.
If the
One game.
Browns, this is the real kicker.
Last week.
That's a good point. You're also banged the fuck up.
True. That's the biggest point, sadly.
You won't get healthy by
This is the
week
kicker.
two
Can we
of the
pray? Can we pray?
No.
I mean, the two pass rushers are cooked. But
I
Waddle,
think-
Mostert.
In these conversations, we undervalue game script because if the Browns get off to an early lead against the Dolphins, let's say it's 13-3, the Dolphins now have to drop back. And if you are doing straight dropbacks and the Browns can just rush 4 without any threat of the run and just win one-on-ones, the Dolphins are not going
But
to
to be fair, though, you have to say, what about the other side? What if Miami goes
That's
up
what I'm saying.
13-3 and they come
That's
on
what
the
I'm
ball?
saying. It's all about game script.
Here's the thing. That game script was essentially the Chiefs versus Dolphins. Would you say?
To a degree, yes.
Right? But then we saw the Dolphins mount a mini comeback, although it fell short.
The Chiefs do not have the defensive line of the Browns.
Cleveland also
Chris
doesn't have a
Jones,
run game.
Karlaftis has been awesome. That's about it.
They're bottom 20 in pass rush win rate. The Browns are number 1.
But there's definitely a difference.
That's like 60%
but it's still,
Miles Garrett.
but we still acknowledge the
No,
Chiefs'
no.
defense.
Sure.
It's a lot of him, but
And Zadarius.
the defensive line,
It's pretty
the
great.
Browns' defensive line
pretty
across
great.
the board, Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Dalvin Tomlinson in the interior.
It's amazing.
Oh my
I'm
God.
saying Miles Garrett is like
there's a reason they're number 1.
whole
leading the
po-
league in like double rate.
But you know that he doesn't even have the most snaps pass rushing, right?
I know.
Like they have really saved him
It's
and reserved him a lot.
Parsons, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Parsons
Yeah,
does,
Parsons,
yeah.
like,
He's
yeah,
at the
he's-
near top, yeah.
But the whole point to that would be the Browns' defense is elite. Chiefs defense is elite. That's the only comparison I'm trying to draw.
Yeah.
Where we know that both of these defenses are great. We saw it against the Chiefs that this Miami offense, although it did fall short, was still able to mount a comeback against them. So that's what I'm saying. Game script, sure, I agree with you. Sure, you have to mention it. But we've seen Miami in some situations. They do lose the games. They do kind of fall a little bit short outside of that game versus Dallas. But we've seen that they could actually still be in those types of
But
balls.
we've also seen, and I know this was a while ago, but them against Buffalo, when the pass rush was able to get to them,
For sure.
the offense looks
And the
garbage.
Eagles.
Eagles game too. Like Miami's offense doesn't look
The
good.
difference with the Bills to the Chiefs to the Browns, Bills' offense at that time,
Yes, also
flawless.
Yeah.
Fucking flawless.
Cleveland's offense won't
Chiefs
be that.
Chiefs' offense has not been that, and the Browns' last 4 weeks, Joe Flacco's been able to be efficient, but also at the same time, we know that he has his turnovers. But against Miami's defense now, that's where we can have concerns.
Dehls, what you said, I agree with. The game script can be flipped around. I think that's what I'm saying. The AFC playoffs is going to be heavily reliant on game script. It's going to be on what teams come out with the better opening script to then build a lead. Because I don't think the Dolphins have the offensive line to play from behind and handle an overwhelmingly dominant defensive line. The Chiefs' defensive line is good, but what makes the Chiefs' defense elite are the different variations of blitzes that Steve Spagnuolo throws at you. That's how they're able to really get pressure. With the Browns, you can drop back 7 people into coverage and you can rush 4, and now you have more bodies in coverage than you do receivers, and that's going to make throwing windows and lanes very minimal.
Secondary is very elite.
So
Very
that's the
elite.
big difference in those matchups, and that's why I think the playoffs are going to come down to game script. That's why I can see a scenario where the Browns can be a dark horse because they are a team that their defensive line is going to overwhelm whatever offensive line they play.
Dark horse as in go to the whole thing.
I can see a scenario. It's not. I'm not
What do you mean
saying.
the whole
I'm
thing?
not saying this is no. They can like make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying this
That's what I'm
is.
saying. Go to the big game.
I'm not saying this is something that I think is going to happen, but I could see a scenario where things go right. Flacco plays good enough.
They have to beat Buffalo.
It's
or
a
Baltimore.
Super Bowl caliber defense. Like when you have a defense that good, we've seen in history before, you can have an offense that is average or below
We're talking
average.
like once every so and so years.
Last time we
Manning,
saw it,
like
to be fair, Eli was damn good.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we talking
The
about.
last
Broncos.
time was the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos.
Well, we
Peyton
also
Manning was just
seen-
able to play game managing football.
We also seen quarterbacks get hot, and the thing with Flacco is that
He's 38.
he's gotten hot before.
I don't know.
It's the 8
I
o'clock
don't know.
game. Bro's falling asleep again in the playoffs.
He sure was.
He really was falling asleep in the second half. That's more disrespectful on the Jets than anything.
Shit,
Torched.
I did a comparison on my Twitter the other day. If Joe Flacco happens to go on a Super Bowl run and wins it, his career with Eli Manning's is going to look very similar. Like Joe Flacco will get into the Hall of Fame
he's got to have, but the playoff run's got to be elite.
And also, Eli's counting stats are also pretty solid. I feel like people look at that and underrate it a little bit.
His
But
regular season numbers were never crazy, but his
Yeah.
playoff numbers, like,
he has one of the
He's
better.
in a Hall of Fame because of the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's what.
Yeah.
That's, what
that's
it
why
is.
Flacco can't go out there and throw fucking 10 touchdowns, eight interceptions. That's not
Right.
going to do
Let's
it.
see if he goes 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think he gets in.
Six
Six
and 2.
touchdowns.
That's 2 a game,
It's not great.
not including the Super Bowl.
It's not
It ain't
bad.
elite. It depends on the percentage. And
I was
all
gonna
that
say
shit.
Eli in his second go round was 9 touchdowns, 1 INT,
Oh, he was perfect. Yeah.
He went all the way to the Super Bowl.
and won and beat
pass.
the GOAT.
Yeah.
And that should have never
That's really
happened,
what it
bro. Because
was.
the Niners punt returner muffed it
Yeah, it's on him.
Eh,
in the NFC
can't win them all.
Championship.
It's on him.
Alex Smith
Tell
should
you
have
what,
went
man,
that
it's-
year.
Hey, we
man.
need a few
Really
of those.
God
Lamar's
damn,
year,
man.
They need to hold that.
I was so
Really
tight when the
Lamar's year.
Giants won. that.
I was kind of happy actually.
And the reason, we haven't talked about the Ravens this podcast, and
Let's do that
We know-
because fans hate when we don't.
But what is it to say?
we're
They're
going to
great.
talk about
That's
them
really what it
next
is.
show more in depth. We know they're an elite football team, and I acknowledge everything they've done to this
Have to.
point, to Lamar Jackson being MVP, to what he's doing. I think
them
he's
boys, man.
number 1 in passer rating in the pocket this year. The defense is one of the best. They are an overwhelmingly dominant team right now. The reservation for me, even though I think these teams are a little bit different because of the offensive side of the football, this offense is actually an NFL-style offense when passing the ball. With Greg Roman in 2019, they didn't have that. They had an elementary passing game. But we've seen the Ravens be overwhelmingly dominant in the regular season before, and that not translate to the playoffs.
This feels different,
I think it does feel different. I do agree with you,
Feels so much different.
but I wouldn't be shocked because I think the Ravens are also not as reliant on game script, but let me ask you something.
Who could stop them?
When
I was very interested to see where that statement was going at.
let me ask you something. The Ravens' offensive weapons and the Chiefs' offensive weapons, is there a big difference? With Mark Andrews not coming back this year.
Would you say I'm insane
I guess
for saying the Chiefs are better?
only 'cause
Rasheed
of
plus
Kelce.
Kelsey rather than
I think
And
Zay-
Pacheco.
Zay,
Am I
yeah.
insane for
Probably
saying
the
I'd
Chiefs-
rather
the
the
Chiefs?
Chiefs?
Probably a little bit better.
slightly better.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers is so fucking.
He's
good.
a
Isaiah
dog.
likely because Isaiah likely solid.
Odell's- He's been emerging, bro,
Odell's
for
starting to heat
real.
up. Odell is starting to heat up too.
He
is.
is, but
he had
still,
a nice ass catch yesterday on the
he's
sideline.
been a little inconsistent.
I would
Definitely some
still
moments.
go with the
secondary one.
Ravens just because with the Ravens, you have Odell, Rashad, and Zay. Like, those are three players that can win versus man coverage at least a little bit.
Are you taking the Chiefs or are you taking the Ravens?
Ravens easily, and I'm not
Weapons?
thinking twice.
No weapons.
Oh! I'm so sorry.
The Chiefs just have Kelsey, but outside
Can
of
I
that,
count
I
Lamar
love-
as a weapon?
Rasheed
I love-
is him.
I love Rasheed.
Can
I
I
love
count Lamar as a
Rasheed.
weapon?
Pacheco is him.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Because you, if
I'm
you
not
put,
against
That's
it.
not fair.
If
I'm
you
not
put up
against it.
Pacheco-
Mahomes.
Mahomes is a
True.
weapon.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about because the run game.
But Mahomes kind of takes off
He's
sometimes.
in the run game.
He's not Lamar.
You want to know? You want to know something interesting?
I feel like Lamar, you could count that. You know,
I
I'm
think
just
you
trying to
take
say, hey,
quarterbacks out of it.
with the number one seed, the best team in the league, their weapons aren't as good as
And you
a
had two of the
declining
most. You probably had
offense
two of the most
and the Kansas City
dominating wins
Chiefs.
all season long with the Niners and
what
Dolphins.
they just
back-to-back.
did to the Niners and
Dolphins.
Dolphins, bro. I think they're the best.
You want to
team.
know something? You want to know something interesting? And this is kind of the difference between these two quarterbacks. But Lamar obviously is a threat on the ground because he's the most athletic quarterback ever. They stack the box more against the Ravens, which opens up the pass game. The Chiefs this year have been one of the worst rushing football teams in the league. They have some games where they blow up, but for the most part, they struggle rushing the football. We know their weapons are not good outside of Kelsey, but he
And
gets
Rasheed.
doubled.
And Rasheed Rice.
Please
And
respect
Pacheco.
Sorry, I keep forgetting Rasheed. I really
You need to stop.
apologize.
And Pacheco.
Pacheco's a running back. Like,
He's a weapon.
that's he's very reliant on the offensive line.
To be fair,
playing
it's not
well.
like a pass catching type of. He can,
He
but
can,
that's not like.
but
his
it's
game,
off a
really.
screen, and if you
So
can
just wide
televise
receivers,
those,
tight ends. Okay.
just wide receivers, tight ends.
Come on.
You have Kelsey, you have Rasheed, and then everybody else you
Mid.
cannot count on them.
Terrible.
This is the thing though. When Kelsey gets doubled, I like Rasheed, but he's more of a receiver that you get him on the move on like a crosser, and with his speed he can get open. But if it's like one-on-one press man coverage, he's not consistently getting open. Despite the Chiefs not rushing the football well this year, like at all, teams are still playing quarters on them, like at one of the highest rates in the league. So the defenses are still very much respecting the pass,
As they should.
even with these receivers not being good, and that's because they respect Mahomes.
As they should.
So they should be able to run the football.
Agreed.
The fact that they haven't been able to run the football with seeing light boxes has
I-
been a problem to this point.
The ironic part about that is that they're coming off a win where they did exactly that.
The Bengals defense is also.
And they have
not
no
been able to
DJ
really stop
Reader, who's their
anything.
best run defender.
I'm just saying they decided to, hey, let's exploit a obvious weakness,
But yeah, I don't think we'll be able to do it against Baltimore.
and they were able to win the game in that regard.
But I just mentioned
You
the
don't think
weapons
so?
point.
run the ball against Baltimore.
Just
not,
run the
not
ball.
not to the extent they just did against Cincinnati.
No,
I Cincinnati's one of the worst rush defenses.
I mentioned the weapons point though because we already saw a game this year where they had like 11 plus drop passes versus the Steelers and they lost.
Yeah.
The playoffs, even though you can have overwhelmingly dominant regular season performances,
It's one
the
game.
playoffs is one game. It's very unpredictable. So who's to say that they don't have one of those games where Nelson Aguilar's open for a touchdown, he drops it.
I mean,
say that about
you can say
everything.
you say about the Niners.
We
You
was
can say
catching
about
babies.
Dallas. You can say about every
Unlike
team.
Aguilar.
I feel like with the Niners,
answer.
I feel like with the Niners, like more things have to go wrong with the Niners than it does. The
All has to
Ravens.
be. I mean, to use your logic, game script. Brock Purdy has to come from behind. He's down 10 points.
7 points.
You know, that's what I mean. Like all it takes is first play of the game, punt return touchdown. Second play, Brock Purdy pick 6. It's 14-0. Oh fuck. You know what I mean? Like
I do think this year's different, and it's very hard to go against the Ravens. I don't get the same feeling that I got back in 2019. In 2019, I picked the Titans to beat the Ravens.
good call.
This year, I don't feel that way for a team to really upset. Did I not call the Ron Tannehill comeback?
It's just like, okay. Did you want to just remind?
No, I
everybody?
said that because it's just going back to that year.
This year you're not
I
going
felt
to
I felt a feeling about the Ravens that they weren't as good as the record. This year I feel differently. Like
So you think
I
anybody
mean,
could
there's
beat
a
them? I think
world
they are
where
dominant.
it could be Browns Ravens Second round of the playoffs, divisional matchup.
It's the only team out this bunch that have been able to beat these boys.
Now, I do think the Bills and the Browns are the only two teams that could beat Baltimore.
You don't give the Chiefs a chance.
I don't think so. I don't think the Chiefs can.
You'd be a fool. You'd be a fool to doubt the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's the Chiefs. They just won a Super Bowl.
They barely beat Jake Browning.
It's like the Patriots
just
lost
barely.
too, man. It happens. They win more than they lost.
Harrison
can't win
Butker
them all,
was
brother,
running
man.
them kicks, man.
You
You
can't
can't win them all,
Bowl.
but it's gonna
You can't get
it's
every
gonna go
AFC
down to the
championship
wire.
game.
I
It's like we
respect
saw
you.
Brady
I
lose.
respect you saying to the wheels fall off. I respect it, but to me, I feel I already see this train running off the tracks.
Defense wins championships.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Baltimore's defense is pretty fucking
And the Chiefs
good.
is right. It's probably number 2 in the
Yeah, it's
AFC.
a shame Baltimore's number one.
Is it better than Cleveland's?
Statistically, I think Baltimore is.
So are we
they're
dropping-
number one.
Statistically, the Chiefs are
I'm
better.
saying,
than
are we
Cleveland.
dropping it?
Number one,
Chiefs
Baltimore.
more
Baltimore's number one, like
statistically better.
sacks
The
and
Chiefs statistically are better than
takeaways.
the
No, you talk about
Browns.
Chiefs and Browns.
Oh, my bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Statistically, the Chiefs are better.
I know the number one defense is
Yeah.
Baltimore.
The Chiefs are going to be a second
All right,
round.
what
exit.
other matchups we got to get through here?
I hate that for you too.
We have the Texans and Colts. I mean, I don't want to see the Colts in the playoffs personally.
Fuck no.
I think Shane
Respect to Shane
Steichen has
Steichen.
If they
done a
are
great
playing,
job.
I would like to
Anthony
see it.
Richardson, when he comes back next year, he's going to be a star. He's
he's
going
gonna
to
be
have
a
a
star.
great
I
year.
agree.
Yeah.
He is.
I-
Yo, JT. Great game
He
yesterday.
did
Talk
have
to
a
me,
great
Riv.
I have a question. 1 to 10. 10 being this is likely to happen. I want to do it like that.
That's fine. Most likely.
Yeah, I just want to
10.
make sure I want to do it like that.
Gotcha.
10 being this is likely to happen. 1 being it's not likely to happen. What's the chances of Trevor Lawrence ending up being the third best quarterback in his division by 2 years from now? So 2026.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah, I was.
So
I
you
was
go
right
50-50.
there, 50-50. Because we already seen
that a
what Stroud
cop-out?
could do.
I think so. I would love a better answer because I'm gonna say.
said 50-50.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna go wild card. I'll say 3.
So
No, you're going to go 7.
7. Yes, I'm gonna go 7.
Okay,
so I think what happened.
Dude made his own scale.
I know.
No, you made the scale
What
for
do you
me.
mean?
and it-
You said 10 most likely. I'm like,
so
you got
I'm
it.
gonna go 7. I think by
So there's
2026.
70% chance he's the third best quarterback in the
Yeah,
division.
I'll have some fun.
So
with
he's
it.
worse than
70's
CJ Stroud,
crazy.
and he's
And there's
worse
nothing
than
wrong with that.
Anthony
There's
Richardson.
nothing wrong with being worse than CJ and AR. I want to start that.
AR, we still need to see.
For sure. I'm gonna go. You
And
know what?
CJ was one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks this year. They
That's
don't
a
wanna
false.
talk about it.
Fuck that
They
stat.
don't want to talk
Fuck
about
that
Fuck
it.
that stat. Fuck stats lie. Fuck
He's
that
him, though.
stat.
He's him, though.
I'm gonna go 65. 65.
Trevor's PR team is terrible, and
Right.
a lot of people even are
You have
going to the
Jordan Love
lengths
over
of
him.
thinking that Jordan Love has been amazing.
I just
this
want
year.
you to know that. So
I
this
know.
isn't
And
crazy.
Jordan Love has been amazing.
Jordan
These
Love
are
is
2 quarterbacks
Jordan
that are
Love is
younger, could be
legitimately
better.
solidifying himself as like a franchise quarterback.
Right on cue. We
Congratulations.
just got a
Year
super
4.
chat from great name. Sorry, NFC North teams. The Packers found another one. Love in his first season already has more yards and touchdowns in a single season than any other quarterback in Bears
I'll
history.
be honest, skipping others was crazy, but you know.
No, it's just had to do with the Jordan Love.
Yeah, just
It's important. I mean, Jordan Love, I've really been impressed by what he's been able to do when he's not getting the credit that he deserves. He's really not.
Yeah.
I think amongst Packers fans they know they got the guy, but the national media and just fans in general are still kind of not buying into it. But it's look at what he has been playing with the entire year. The last 2 games have been the best 2 games that Aaron Jones has had, and they've had from a rushing standpoint. He has been playing all year with no running game, with the youngest group of receivers in NFL history. The offensive line has been good, and their standout there is Zach Tom on the right side. He's one of the best in the business right now. But legitimately, Jordan Love, I think his stats and what he's doing with his supporting cast, he's doing the most and more this year.
Is Joe Brady still a terrorist, or
Joe Brady? Why?
people are saying that he's
the
not-
Packers fans hate the
They
shit
don't
out
like
of Joe
him.
Brady.
Oh,
Joe
Joe
Barry.
Barry.
Barry,
Joe
apologize.
Yeah, he redeemed himself with this
I would
past
say
performance.
he bounced
It was
the
a
fuck back.
masterclass.
But
Yeah.
week 18, if the Bears
Jared
go
Hall,
off,
Nick
Because
Mullins.
listen, Jordan played amazing. A lot of these guys were wide open. I mean, the scheme was flawless, but Jordan executed at the highest level.
Jay King's saying he might be the 4th best quarterback because Will Levis is him.
I'm dead.
Will Levis.
But what I'm saying about Trevor Lawrence is that I think that Trevor Lawrence, he is second in turnover worthy plays this year. Trevor Lawrence has turned over the ball a lot this year, but he's also made some of the most high level throws this year, and has, I think, 5+ touchdown drops this year as well. I mean, Trevor Lawrence stats should look better, and he's also dealing with one of the worst offensive lines.
Facts.
Kirk just got hurt early in the season, Zay Jones wasn't out there, and that really limited their offense. He's dealing with a play caller that's not that good. Press Taylor has not been a good play caller. Doug Peterson has given those duties to him.
Second half of the year, too, ETN has not been the same running back.
Yeah, because they can't run the ball because they don't have an offensive line.
This was his first 100-yard rushing game since week 5.
So when you tell me, I think 70% chance that he's the third worst quarterback in that division is disrespectful. I think Trevor Lawrence has proven a lot in this league already. He played at a top 6 level to end the year in 2022. He did throw 4 interceptions in the playoffs, but he threw 4 touchdowns as well in the playoffs.
The only way to do it.
I think that right now people aren't acknowledging the situation that Trevor Lawrence is truly in right now, and that's why they've started to underrate him.
So this AFC matchup, AFC South, it's going to be Saturday. We got 2 Saturday games, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Houston, Indy. That's the 8 o'clock game for the division. Is this winning you get in for both teams?
If the Texans or Colts win and get in, Steelers, if they win, but they need a Bills or Jaguars loss.
Are the Ravens sitting everyone?
They said they haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Because, I mean, they're also going to have the bye, so that'll be 2 weeks no football.
And also, if Lamar doesn't play, do you think that'll impact MVP at all?
No.
Okay, good.
He's has a lot.
I'm just making it sure.
He's like minus 2,000 or some shit to win.
Very interesting, because like we mentioned early on, there's still a situation if... Say that one more time?
CJ's back.
Facts.
Oh, yeah.
CJ's back saying that. That if the Bills lose and then the Steelers win, Bills missing, that would just be catastrophic for playoff viewing. I think we need the Bills to get in. Although Mason Rudolph, let's give him his acknowledgement. Last 2 games, he's played some awesome football, has really done a great job of catering to the strengths, and that's getting the ball into George Pickens' hands. They ran the ball extremely well yesterday against the Seahawks. Let's just give a little bit of acknowledgement to Pittsburgh, because I know their fans have kind of been in the dump with the conversations of Tomlin potentially being moved or being removed from the head coaching job. But very interesting to see what can happen with these playoff situations. I definitely want to see Buffalo in the playoffs more so than I want to see the Steelers.
We have an even slate this week, too. We have 7 1 o'clock games. Looks like 7 4 o'clock games.
Really?
And 1 8 o'clock game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me, 6 at 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at 4. Why can't this be every week, bro?
This is going to come off as disrespectful, but I'm about to make the worst possible AFC playoff picture that everybody doesn't want to see. So, first of all, Dolphins versus Bills, AFC East crown. That's what it's for. Dolphins win that game, but if the Bills lose, they can miss the playoffs with the Steelers win. Bills lose, Steelers beat the Ravens, who are sitting everybody, so Steelers have a playoff spot locked in. Colts versus Texans. Everybody wants to see C.J. Stroud. Colts upset them, and Colts get into the playoffs. Okay. And we have a playoffs of Ravens 1 seed. The 2 seed is the Dolphins. The 3 seed Chiefs. 4 seed Jaguars, 5 seed the Browns, 6 seed the Steelers, and 7 seed the Colts.
That's what you think is going to happen?
No, I just said this is the worst possible scenario.
That is worst possible scenario.
That's what I don't want to happen.
Yeah, we need Bills.
We need the Bills.
I need to see Stroud have a masterclass against
We need the Bills and the Texans
now
to
let me ask you.
Hey, I was just about to say.
If Bills don't make it,
what happens?
Is Josh Allen Luka Doncic?
Crying.
What the fuck? Luka?
Is he Luka Doncic?
Oh, because he missed.
He should have missed the playoffs.
I don't think so.
Because he's an MVP caliber player.
It would be a little nuts.
He's a top 5 player in the league, top 2 quarterback this year.
Top 3.
Fine, I'm cool with that. I just say in the league, I'm taking all players into account.
Top 3. It'll be crazy.
And he misses the playoffs.
It'll for sure be crazy. Conversations will need to be had.
Because there's definitely, it's also football. It's a team game.
That roster has declined in general, though, in totality. The roster has declined
Injuries,
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
Injuries,
Devon Diggs
definitely.
feels like he just fell off a cliff all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. And she dropping passes.
So is it fair to call him Luka Doncic? Is that his comparison right now? Is he Luka?
I feel like I've called him that before.
I think that's a good comparison because neither of them, have
he's just a stat machine. Like he just pumps out shit ton of stats.
So it seems pretty comparable.
Josh has been to the AFC Championship once. Luka's been to the WCF. It's not a bad comparison.
I like it. I'm cool with it. But he'll make the playoffs, so I'm not too worried about it.
It's a respect to both players, both elite.
But he'll make the playoffs.
But there's
I think it's hard to say Luka because Luka came out the gate fucking amazing, and Josh had to develop into that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you
took him 3.
2.
Yeah.
2.5. No, he was all right.
I'm saying year 3 was the breakout.
Year 3 was the
second half of year 2.
That's when he choked to Deshaun.
Yep.
Yeah. They were up fucking 20.
Josh Allen has given the blueprint for every fan base that has
believe.
undying belief in their quarterback.
Listen, it happened with, you're 100% right. He ruined how people draft also. But Hurts, Tua, there's belief that needs to be had. You got to give time.
So you guys got Houston or Indy in this game?
I got Texans.
If,
I think they're a
Stroud
better team.
plays,
Got the Texans too.
Texans should.
I'll go even
Shout
further.
out
Who
Aiden
does
O'Connell.
Houston play in the first round?
They don't count.
Oh
They were
my
300
God,
yards.
dude.
I
Who
know
does,
you saw
who
that.
does
They're
Houston
gonna be
play in the
7th.
first
They
round?
probably
Aiden
play
O'Connell almost
Miami.
300 yards.
They'll play
After
Miami?
not throwing for
Probably.
3 quarters.
I'm trying to ask these two, and they're
Sorry,
having
say it again.
conversations and shit.
I was talking about
See
Aiden
how
O'Connell.
rude it is?
It-
You're talking
no,
about Aiden
disgustingly
fucking
rude.
O'Connell.
Disgustingly
We're
rude.
trying to talk about
Who
the
cares
Houston
about
Texans.
Aiden
That's what
O'Connell?
I'm
The
saying.
Raiders
They'll be
are
the
not even
seventh
making the
seed.
playoffs.
They'll be 7th,
The
so they'll
Texans will be
play
7th.
Baltimore.
Miami.
Miami or no, they played Buffalo. If Miami or Buffalo, whoever
Whoever
wins.
wins.
Facts.
The Chiefs are
Damn
are locked in at number 3.
Oh, so Baltimore. I thought Baltimore was locked in at 1.
There.
They are
Baltimore's locked in at 1.
Number
Chiefs
2
at
is-
3.
is
Two
Oh, they
being
get the
decided.
bye. That's what I'm fucking
Yeah,
thinking.
because
yeah.
the
Okay.
Bills beat the Chiefs this year.
So if
That's why.
Buffalo wins, which they will, week 18, unfortunately the Texans will lose. But Buffalo doesn't win, and Miami's the 2 seed. That's all I'm gonna say.
All he's going to say is
That's
that.
all I'm gonna say
all
is.
he's gonna
So
say-
you're gonna tell me? You're
What's
gonna
up?
tell
Talk to me,
me
big dog.
that Miami?
I'm gonna tell you, CJ's gonna go into Miami.
Imagine.
you interrupted me. You like to say I interrupt
Sorry,
you.
my fault. Do you think, big dog?
You're gonna tell me
Mhm.
that Miami's gonna beat the Bills Week 18, a game that you think they won't even win.
I mean, if something happens, Josh hurts himself or something like that, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. But
Okay.
keep going, keep going.
So
God
you're sa-
forbid, of course.
So you're just saying everything has to go
Oh,
wrong
yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah,
Bills
for
to
sure.
lose.
Yeah.
So let's just live in that world for
Let's
a
live in
second.
my world, of course.
No. Let's live in this world where Miami beats the Bills.
So your world, Drew's world.
But you're saying that if they face Miami, they could beat them. But if they face the Bills, they're not beating them. You're telling me Miami beats the Bills,
Yeah.
they're losing to the Texans? That's
Well,
what you're going to tell me.
I'm telling you is for Miami to beat the Bills, a lot of shit has to go wrong
Lost
for
the
the
Titans
Bills.
and beat the Cowboys.
But you know, Houston, if Houston plays Miami,
That's the only way to work around that shit.
CJ's
you
gonna go
fucking
into Miami,
bozo.
grab all the aura, and outperform Tua. It's gonna
Texans
be
got a
great,
chance against both.
for sure. But you're ruining the fun. Jesus. But yeah, I would take Houston just for fun
For vibes.
of course.
Vibes pick.
Who would not want to see? CJ
You know
Stroud
why?
second
I
round?
actually fear your vibes pick more than anything else in the world.
Why?
They're dangerous.
Houston, right?
No, your vibes picks.
My vibes picks. How's it?
They're just
They work in magical ways.
Yes. You got some fucking sorcery going on with your vibes pick.
Come.
I'm deflecting.
What? Sick guy. Sick fucking guy.
It's an homage. I paid an homage.
This guy's crazy, man.
We have a super chat from Christopher Castro. Dolphins are still winning the Super Bowl, by the way.
Legend.
Goat Pod.
You shouldn't have read that shit.
Has to.
Super chat. This is from Football CF Candy. Fields will end up with a negative pass DYAR for the season. Still think they will draft a quarterback at number 1, but if he balls out against the Packers,
The fuck is that?
I'm looking it up. DYAR football.
What is that, Joel?
Is that
it's a
pro
defense
football?
adjusted quarterback stat.
Sounds like he's hating for sure.
So it adjusts to the defenses you face, and obviously negative is not good. So that's what it means, basically.
Hating ass dude.
Asif Iqbal goes, is Von Miller washed?
He's been washed
He's
all
healthy
year.
scratch.
It's tragic because
That
last year he was
contract they gave
OD.
Yeah, he has
Last year he was amazing.
You act like you forget he's on the field this year, like when he's played. It's
Hurts.
just-
Yeah.
First
kinda
ballot
crazy.
Hall of Famer.
Actually, their best player has probably been Ed Oliver.
I don't
Not
know.
Ed. Greg's been elite. Floyd's been pretty good too. Like
I'm blanking on the new not safety.
Bernard,
Might be.
Terrell,
Yes.
Bernard,
Yes.
or AJ Espenza. They had just guys just
No.
doing
Terrell
shit.
Bernard's an inside
Let me look it up.
linebacker.
No.
Who are you thinking of?
I'm
Tyler Dotson.
no.
What position? You're not helping at
Saying secondary. He's in the secondary.
all. Oh, Christian Benford.
No.
Okay.
Name's not ringing a bell.
Okay.
Razul Douglas,
No, definitely not Razul.
Dane Jackson,
Teron Johnson.
Might be it right there. Might
Teron
be it.
Johnson.
Actually,
He's
I
a
don't
staple
think so.
of their defense.
No, he's a young
And
kid.
Christian Bedford is
It's
probably
Christian
Maybe
Benford,
that's who it is.
The
probably.
whole
He's
roster.
good. Yeah.
I really.
I mean, the
name's
four,
not coming to me. I'm
the
sorry.
four corners that get the most playing time are Razul Douglas, Christian Benford, Teron Johnson as a nickel, and then Dane Jackson. That's the 4.
It might be.
You might be
Dane.
talking about because Dane isn't young. Christian's the youngest. You're not talking about Alam.
No,
please God,
no,
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
not.
Yeah, he's
I'll figure it out.
healthy scratch. He's horrible.
What number is he? In the 40s, right?
He doesn't even know. He
But
knows
I'm
nothing.
blanking so hard.
What
I'm
does
sorry.
he do?
I told you he's in the
No,
secondary.
I'm saying, like, is he
He had-
good? Are
I
you
think-
trying
yes,
to praise
I
him?
think he had an interception last game.
Christian Benford, I think.
Got it.
Yeah, Christian Benford's number 47. He's in the 40s.
Oh.
Anthony Saldana goes, shout out Philly for giving us the division. Prayer
Okay.
hand emojis.
The Philly just said they might set their starters this week. I guess they're
Yeah.
locked into the 5 seed.
They are.
They are. Yeah, we are.
RH3 goes, Stafford is the only NFC quarterback with a ring. He is.
Huh?
Legend.
I heard you, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Am I wrong?
Are the Ramley? Are they running it back?
They can. They got a chance.
They're low key the second most.
You know, they
dangerous team
don't.
in the NFC.
They only talk about my overreaction that
Low-key
was wrong.
dumb funny.
They don't talk about my overreaction that was right.
Well,
That the Rams are going to the playoffs.
you said this year?
My two overreactions. Two
Drew.
over MVP. RP.
No young player had an interception last game.
Someone had an
You talk
interception.
about a forced fumble.
No.
No. Douglas had 2, and then Ed Oliver had 1.
No. Then I'm not.
So you
talking
talk about he made the play.
Someone had an
Christian Benford
interception.
made the
Someone
play.
had an interception. Who had an interception?
Razul Douglas, he had 2.
That's it.
And then Ed Oliver had the other one, but Christian Benford hit the
I was
out of
just
the
saying,
hand. that
Benford's
Ed
been
go
playing
for it.
well this season, so maybe I'm thinking of
You are
Benford.
thinking of
A Lorks goes, sorry, NFC order. Drew
I
read
read
that
that
already.
one.
Yeah. We got another one. A Storks goes, Joe Barry is the Antichrist. I am not moved.
I'm dead.
Packers fans hate Joe Barry. Santos goes, y'all get into WWE belt for the Pick'em winner.
God,
WWE
dude.
belt is a couple $100. It's expensive.
You get a
for
cheap
the
one
winner.
from Target.
Maybe we write it off. We'll
Do we
see.
really want to get a cheap one though? It's not gonna feel the same for the winner.
I'm just giving the
A
option.
belt's a belt.
Belt's belt. Or chain. Chain could be tough.
A chain would be pretty nice.
No
I
Devon.
like the or even a I just
That's
like the
tough.
idea of having
It's a
like
bar.
2023 or 2024.
I'm not gonna
this
win,
winner,
but I would love the
2025,
idea if I
2026.
did win, bringing the belt in every week, just knowing I'm better than
Fuck
all
your
of you.
shit.
Yeah, no, I didn't win, but I'm just saying.
You like the spinner belt though? I actually like the
Spinner belt's
OG
hard.
World Heavyweight Championship
I
belt.
do. I like
one's
that one
cool,
too.
I like
That one just
that
feels
belt.
more manly, you know.
Yeah.
Feels more
Yeah, I feel you.
powerful.
Spinner belt.
Spinner belt's
Swag.
kind of like a kid toy, you know.
We grown ass
fuck.
men.
It's a World Heavyweight Championship.
World heavyweight. You're a heavyweight.
Michigan just threw a pick on the first play.
No.
JJ McCarthy.
He's a fraud.
Hate it had to be him.
Yo, after Harbaugh got suspended, he's been playing horrendous. He's been horrible.
I don't know what the fuck he should've
Harbaugh's
threw it
not
out.
coaching right now.
No, he is.
Yes,
He is
back, yeah.
okay.
He was
Someone
rolling
did he
up
get
the right- rolling up
suspended?
Just for the rest of the regular
Jim Harbaugh.
season.
Okay. Yeah, JJ McCarthy
He's been bad.
is an intriguing
Oh my God.
prospect because
He was good as hell. He got suspended.
because JJ doesn't do much. He's a game manager in college.
Could you see a world where Cam Ward goes to like Detroit and they let him develop?
They
and
have
he's-
Hendon Hooker.
Isn't he like 26?
It doesn't
Yes.
matter. They still drafted
What
him.
up,
You know,
second round or third
yeah.
round was it?
Well, I'm saying, I told me Cam Ward got some untapped. Or what about Seattle?
I mean,
Cam Ward is a
he's gonna be like a he might be like a day 3
So
pick.
Minnesota.
Cam Ward is like a flyer.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's taking him. To
Well,
be
I'm saying the dude, like quarterback teams with quarterbacks that they're old, but they're still really good.
Yeah.
So you can get them in like the 4th.
That's
third.
where they should take him.
Yeah,
Big
like-
Cam Ward guy, aren't you?
I don't know, but I'm about to be. I'm about to figure out what's going
You
on.
should watch
with
his
Swag.
highlights. He's
What's
actually a
his,
good player. He's black. Yeah.
So, low key, the Alabama player was
Out of bounds?
He was out of bounds, came back in intercepted.
You should watch his highlights. He's a
bro?
good player.
Washington State.
Washington State. Just put Cam Ward highlights.
I'm
He's
gonna
really
tap
good.
tap into bro.
You
Ooh,
can look
I
at his
don't
stats.
know.
He had amazing
It's
stats.
so close.
We're going to talk
definitely
about
was
the NFC
His heel might have been
playoff
out.
picture and breaking it down. So the NFC playoffs are pretty much locked in. Number 1, we have the Niners. Number 2, if the Cowboys beat the Commanders in Week 18, they will lock up the NFC East
Don't choke.
because they hold the tiebreaker over the Eagles. Man, oh man, Cowboys got so much hate for losing to the Cardinals, and then the Eagles lost.
Please
man.
go to fucking hell.
Wow.
At least I lost to Kyler.
Did you see what Santos just did?
No, I did not.
He's the greatest person of. He's literally the greatest
Send
ever.
100. No, oh my God.
He's-
Santos.
he sent 100.
Santos.
Shout out to
We need to
Santos.
get him a real job.
We got to get it now.
We do.
with us.
We do.
Basically works with us. I mean, he's a legend.
He's good.
I love Santos.
Santos my dog.
Santos, here's a late Christmas gift. Get the belt. $100 super chat. Shout out to Santos.
You know what, Santos? I was trying to work this in private, but you just went so above and beyond. Just want to let you know, when the drop comes, when the next merch drop comes, do not buy anything. We are taking care of whatever you want. You just send us whatever you want, and we got you. For all the love, for all the work that you do for us, I'll take care of you,
Yo,
Santos.
I forgot to tell you this funny shit. I was watching the
Incomplete, by
Eagles.
the way.
I was watching the Eagles game, and I gave my son the Jalen Hurts jersey for sure.
Tough.
We lost the game. I threw that shit at his face. Not because Jalen Hurts did anything. Like, it's just like we lost, and I just threw it at him. I was so angry. Yeah, I was so mad. I just threw it. I was like, yeah, I can't take this shit anymore, man. Losing.
You threw the jersey right at RJ?
literally at his face.
Dyfus, he's joking. He was
He
just
looked at me
do
and
it
he just ran off.
metaphorically.
I was just like, bro, like I'm so aggravated, bro. Losing to the Cardinals, man.
Charles Gibson goes, more worry about Dallas running game or Philly's defense overall.
It's
That
not
was
even
the
a
first super
conversation.
chat.
Defense
Not
by
even a
far.
conversation.
We can't stop anybody.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's the Cowboys defense for sure.
Sidney Brown though, pick 6.
Facts? That was an amazing play.
Shout out to him.
Are we talking about a
Still
bottom
terrible.
3 defense?
probably.
In the playoffs or
General.
In the
No,
playoffs,
in the
the
playoffs,
worst.
dead last.
In general, no, not.
In general, I don't think we're bottom 3. I think we're like bottom 10.
I'm trying to think.
Might be bottom 5, bro.
Who's
These
really
These
horrible?
guys can't stop nobody, bro.
I think I could go 5 better.
All right.
Maybe
5
I
worse,
can.
you mean?
Yeah. Maybe I can, actually. Chargers.
Although the last 2 weeks they've looked decent.
Are we going in totality or
No. Let's just go to if we go totality, it's a little bit easier.
Chargers.
Yep.
Green Bay. I think their defense is like bad.
Probably.
Like yeah. Carolina.
They play well against the Chiefs, but I mean, who hasn't?
Carolina.
I think Carolina's
Carolina has
defense
moments.
is sneaky.
Washington for sure.
Oh, most
Commanders.
definitely worse.
Washington
Most
for
definitely
sure. I think
worse.
Chargers for sure. Outside that, bro, Arizona, I guess.
Well, they put up. Well, we just put up 30.
Y'all
on them.
lost.
They put up 30.
Oh, so are we saying Arizona's
Colts.
defense is
I don't know, bro. They're borderline bottom 5 defense.
They're
So
terrible.
We're bottom 8.
no?
Bottom
That's a
eight,
lock.
comfortable.
That's a lock.
Bottom
I
5
said,
might be.
what I
I said,
I
what
said
I say,
bottom
bottom
10.
3.
Yeah.
I said
Bottom
bottom
3 was mad disrespectful.
It's fringe.
They might be 5.
It's fringe.
No, we're like 7-8. We're like 7-8. We're like 7-8 for sure. That's some
How
guys.
the
Man.
mighty have fallen.
We'll get
What's
back.
the likelihood that the Buccaneers can knock them out in the first
You
round?
want to put money on that?
I don't know, bro. Buccaneers just
You want to
sold.
put money on that?
They did. Baker's
I
banged
didn't
up.
say I want to
so
put money on it.
I'm actually-
I'm just saying, what is the
I'm
likelihood?
tired of disrespect from you.
Are they locked in?
What disrespect?
I'm
I
tired
just
of
told
you-
you the truth.
I'm tired of your subliminals.
I told you the
on
truth.
Twitter,
What do we got
your
for the NFC
streaks.
South? What's
I
the
told you
scenarios
2
here?
game losing streak, and then y'all lost 2, and then I picked the Seahawks. Y'all lost the Seahawks. I mean, I
Bad
told you
luck.
the truth. I
Bad
just
luck.
told you the truth.
You're bad luck.
That's all I did. So the NFC South playoff
Let's hear
scenario
this.
is that the Buccaneers will clinch it if they beat the Panthers week 18.
Winning in.
So I think that we all are under the assumption they should beat the
should.
Panthers.
They should.
Do you think that they should give Baker an extension this offseason, though?
How many
Some
years?
calm.
2 years?
2 years, 40 mil.
A Geno Smith-like contract.
2 years,
I like that
40
deal.
mil. I'm
I
cool
like
with
that deal a lot.
Geno Smith got 25 a year, correct?
I thought it was 30.
Something along those lines.
It was
Let me
like
check.
3 years.
I
Right?
thought it was 330. 3
I think it was
for
3 for
390.
100.
I thought it was 75, but you might be right, Riv.
I don't know.
3-year,
375.
$105 million.
Oh,
but not all of
goodness.
it's guaranteed. Like
Okay.
That
only
makes sense.
$7 million was
I
guaranteed.
think he's younger than Geno too.
Only
Yeah.
7 was guaranteed?
$70 million.
Oh,
That's still good
70.
fucking
So that's
money.
why I got it.
Yeah, it was
beautiful money.
375 with 30 with incentives.
Got it.
Here's the thing:
Oh, so I was right, 25.
Are they bringing back Mike Evans? They should.
They should.
They should.
Is
I think
he
Mike
going to want to go
Evans-
back?
He's played amazing this year.
He's a
I say
Buccaneer.
he's having
man.
Loki a career year.
He's a Buccaneer
he's
life.
going
Him and
crazy.
Baker have been.
And he already won the
Putting up better numbers
he
than
already
you
won-
with fucking Brady.
he already won a championship there. So I think, you know what? Right. I agree. Couldn't go out like Larry did.
He
Just
literally
right
his
into the
whole life.
sunset. Yeah.
I think Geno contract is cool for him. He's 28. He's not old. Baker's not old. He's still relatively in that middle pack young age. So I think
Got
he's
the
been-
same
he's been
year
good.
as Josh Allen.
And he's built the connection, with the coach. He's built the connection with the fans. He's played fucking amazing. Why not see if you could do it again?
And I think a lot of the credit I give to Baker Mayfield with his resurgence this year is that I don't think anybody really saw it coming.
Nobody.
The Panther situation was awful, and we all thought the Buccaneers situation was awful because Tom Brady was there last year, and he didn't play that well, and it was a disaster. So I think you look at the situation that Baker was going into, it didn't look like a situation that could revive his career, but for him to play at the level he's playing at, and not only him, but Dave Canales coming in as an OC, and then Rashad White having a big time year. He's been one of the better backs this
Amazing.
year. The Buccaneers are doing something great offensively, and Dave Canales is an underrated, sneaky offensive mind that could be in the head coaching cycle a couple years from now because he's really been that good. The Saints clinched the NFC South with a win over the Falcons, and they need a Bucks loss.
Mhm.
Yes. So that's how they clinch it.
Okay.
And then the wild card, we got 2 scenarios because, like I said, the playoff picture is all but
So
locked.
we think the Bucks get in.
Tell you what,
beat the
that's
Panthers.
why is it that they have the same record, but the Buccaneers have the spot over them?
I think the
Tiebreaker?
Buccaneers either might
Okay.
have a better division record or they might have a better conference
Tie
record.
record
'Cause I
is
know
tough, man.
They split.
They think they
They
did,
They did
split.
split.
Yeah. So they must have better division or conference record.
It's one of those two. That's
Divisions
why.
is the first one that goes up,
Yeah.
then conference.
hmm And the Bucks division record this year.
I don't think they
is-
have it.
Yeah, they don't
or
have it in
ESPN.
straight Google.
So-
Oh my God,
I
what
know.
Google's
Joel,
worthless.
talk to me. What are the chances that the Bucks can knock off the Eagles?
I'll give it 25% chance.
All right, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
25.
That'd be dumb.
So the Bucks and Saints both have a 3-2 division record, but who do the Saints play this final week?
The Panthers. No, I lied.
They play the Falcons.
Okay, so they both play division. They would both be 4-2 if they both win division, but conference record, the Bucks have one more conference win.
There it is.
That's really what it is. Yeah. So That's why the Bucs will clinch. I think they will, but I want to get into the wild card. The Seahawks lost control of their destiny because they lost to the Steelers. A win versus the Cardinals plus a Packers loss gets them in, but this is really the bulk of what we want to talk about with the NFC.
Let's talk about it.
The Packers versus Bears. If the Packers win, it's a win and get in situation.
Where's this game at?
It's in Green Bay.
It's in Green Bay. Week 1 at Chicago after the Packers embarrassed them.
Same old Chicago, man.
A bunch of, I think a Bears player, Jaquan Brisker, said week 18 when we see them again, wait until we see them again.
Tough.
So this game,
we've been here, Riv.
I think has
I've been here.
I've been here
at stake.
I've been here longer than you, actually.
Abby, you fell off.
For a couple weeks.
And I was there.
Without JF here.
Nah, true. But even when he came back, you were just like, nah.
It was like 2 weeks. So it
took you a while to get back on the train.
It took me 2 weeks. Let's come on.
Joel acknowledged he got the Bears guy.
2 weeks is a long time in the
He
NFL.
texted me in private. He's like, yo, bro, I just meant to tell you.
He also texted me.
I meant to tell you, yo, you're the Bears guy.
You texted him that?
Yeah.
That's pretty embarrassing. But you know what?
Are you not the Bears guy?
I am the Bears guy.
That's what I said. You're the Bears guy.
No,
I'm saying you texted me saying, yo, bro, you're the Bears guy. Because Ray fell off.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, come on, what we doing here, man? We know who I am, man. We know what we gonna do.
He has been high on the Bears though since they've been on their streak as of recently.
I picked them last week.
I've been vocal about that defense for weeks. You slept.
He talked about it for a
I
while.
picked them last week and the week before.
What was the game that you picked the Bears and he didn't? Was it the Browns game?
It was literally just the Browns
No,
game.
the Browns game, he picked the Bears. It was that game before that
What was it?
against the Lions.
Yes.
Good upset.
I'm the Lions guy, and I said Bears.
So I should be the Lions guy now.
No.
Is that what we're doing?
Do you want to be?
Well, if he fell
really
off on the
don't.
Bears, you fell off on the Lions.
The Lions aren't good.
He's easily saying
Should have
it.
beat the Cowboys.
They should have. The Lions are
We didn't
good.
even
I'm
talk about
chatting.
that.
I'm
That
chatting.
shit was
No, you're done.
They're good.
Nah, that's crazy.
They're just they're not a Super Bowl team.
He said something like that, and then when the Lions start doing well, he
He's
comes
gonna
on the
come-
show.
Here's the thing.
and
Here's
he's
the
like,
thing.
I
And I'll
told
say this
y'all.
now. I'll say this now
You're a
before
front
playoffs
running
even
fuck.
happen. That's not true.
Because when the Rams weren't good, you weren't Ram
Because they weren't good.
But then now they're good. You back to it, right? You're a
Was I
front
not
runner.
here week one?
He's a
You're a front
LeBron
runner.
fan.
I was here week one. Oh my
LeBron fan.
I was here week one, and I said my overreaction. Rams will make the playoffs. Nobody else said it. I did. Respect me.
Did you?
Of course
Pull it
I
up.
did. Pull it up. You want me to? I have
No,
to.
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna-
take forever.
Okay.
Don't pull it up. Don't
I'm telling you this right now. If
They
the
play week one.
Lions and the Rams
Seattle.
meet up in the playoffs, I'm telling you now, I'm picking the Rams.
That's not a bad pick,
How far
though.
we've come, man.
I'm picking the Rams.
I think a lot of people would pick them.
So there it is. I'm just letting it be known. I don't want it
That'd
to
be a
be
tough
where,
game. That'd be a tough game.
oh, they're back, and you're gonna be like, hey, I told you. Hey, listen, I'm still Lions. Fuck with y'all. Y'all gonna run the NFC North, I believe. Year 1, 2 more to go. But it's not this year.
This game is gonna be exciting.
It
I
is.
can't
Green
wait.
Bay, old storied
So
rivalry.
Green Bay needs to win to get in. They
Yes.
need to win.
Yeah,
and
they
a
control
loss
their
or
destiny.
just
No,
straight
they
win?
control
Okay.
their
They need
destiny
to
straight
beat
up.
the brakes off Chicago in Lambeau.
You need it.
You know, I want to say I feel confident in winning, but I really don't because they lost to the Giants and then they lost to
Almost
The
lost
Bucks.
the Panthers.
the Bucks. Yes,
Almost lost to, Carolina.
the Packers should have been clinched this.
Should have.
But Joe Barry's defense is what's been selling them week after week versus the Giants at the end of the game versus the Buccaneers the entire game. So that's why the Bears offense been playing better, and I am just not fully confident in his defense, but I'm fully confident in Jordan Love, and here's why. We know that he had a masterclass versus the Vikings. Flores blitzed Jordan Love 25 times last night, and Jordan Love still managed to complete 70% of his passes, and he was only under pressure 11 of his 33 dropbacks. He did a great job adjusting protections given the visual of the blitz, and they also did a great job protecting him. Danielle Hunter, I think, recorded 0 pressures, and he was matched up against Zach Tom, who I already was vocal about, who was one of the better right tackles in the league. Said all offensive line's playing well. I remember after Jordan Love had a couple good game stretch in the beginning of the year, and you guys didn't buy into it. And I told you the reason why I'm high on this stretch is because his weaknesses are things he can get better at. And what was the main weakness that I talked about? It was the deep ball from Jordan Love. So Jordan Love on deep passes since week 9, he's first in completions, he's second in yards, he's second in touchdowns. He has a 95.6 PFF grade, which is 5th. That's elite. He's first in big-time throws with 17. Since week 9, 17 big-time throws. 2.3% turnover-worthy percentage plays, 3rd lowest, and a 124.2 passer rating, which is 3rd. Jordan Love has fixed that weakness the deep ball. And even in the beginning, I don't feel like it was much of a weakness. I think it was more of a reps thing, and then receivers not being in the right place. So he's gotten significantly better. And I'm just in awe of the progression that Jordan Love has had this year, man. He makes me smile. I got a Jordan Love shirt. I just got it. I'm about to buy another sweater.
That shit was nuts.
I'll be honest, bro. I almost threw up when I saw that shit.
I'm about to buy another Jordan Love sweater. I want it. But you know what's even crazy? I mean, how do the Packers keep getting away with this? Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, now to Jordan Love. This is Aaron Rodgers versus Jordan Love in their first 16 starts as a first-time starter. Jordan Love, 63% completion percentage. Aaron Rodgers, 63.8% completion percentage. That's around the same. Jordan Love, 3,843 passing yards. Aaron Rodgers had more at 4,038. Jordan Love, 30 passing touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, 28 passing touchdowns. Jordan Love, 11 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, 13 interceptions. And this is the craziest one. After 16 starts in their first season as a starter, both have the same passer rating at 93.8. The Packers are doing voodoo. Because this is not supposed to happen. 3 straight franchise quarterbacks. And by the way, Jordan Love with eclipsing 30 passing touchdowns and having 3,800 passing yards on the season, he has the most passing yards and passing touchdowns than any Bears quarterback in NFL history. And all the hype this offseason was on who? It was on Justin Fields. It wasn't on Jordan Love. It was Justin Fields' breakout. And Jordan Love just goes out and has the best Bears quarterback season in history.
That's kind of nasty.
He got hurt.
He still wouldn't have had these numbers.
He has 20 touchdowns right now.
He wouldn't have had these numbers.
He has 20 touchdowns right now.
He's played 12 games.
He has 20 touchdowns right now.
He wouldn't have had these numbers, bro.
12 games, missing, what, 5 games?
He was going to miss 4 in total because he's going to play week 18.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on how many he has week 18. That's not far off from 30, brother, man. 4 games is a lot
4
of
games, you could definitely accumulate some touchdowns.
Yeah. 20 total, by the way.
Oh,
16 passing, 4 rushing.
He had 11 and 4, didn't he?
No, he has 16
passing, 4 rushing.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Love has 34 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about passing touchdowns.
You can't just count passing touchdowns. We don't do it
You
anymore.
shouldn't, but I understand you doing
Well,
it.
that's what the stat is. I mean,
Oh, well, he has 16 touchdowns.
16 passing touchdowns. Jordan Love has 30.
I would most definitely say 30. Would you say 34?
Should have said 34.
34.
I would only say 34.
I just don't like the jab you threw.
No, it's 30 passing touchdowns.
I understand, but
I know it's total touchdowns, but I'm saying Jordan Love in his first year as a starter
as a passer, he's been really good.
has more passing touchdowns and yards than any Bears quarterback in franchise history.
Yeah, it hurts.
Well, it's not that impressive because the Bears have not had a quarterback.
Well, if it's not impressive, why'd you bring the stat up?
It's funny because in the offseason, all the hype was on Justin Fields.
See, that's where I'm back with Riv. It's like, hey, you're taking a shot at Justin Fields.
It's not taking a shot.
It for sure is taking a shot.
It sounds like it.
It's not taking a shot at Justin Fields. It's taking a shot at the public perception.
Can you hear how it sounds like a shot?
No, it's not a shot.
Can you hear how it sounds like it?
Did we all know it was ridiculous? Did we all think it was ridiculous when Justin Fields had more MVP odds than Trevor Lawrence heading into the season?
So we did. Why'd you bring it up?
Justin
people
Fields
wanted to see a Jalen Hurts.
So this is a shot.
The reason I brought it up was because it's not a shot. No, it's not. I'm just talking about the public perception in the media and how these quarterbacks were covered. I mean, everybody was predicting a Justin Fields breakout. And I'm not knocking Fields. I'm just saying people didn't even give Jordan Love a chance. A lot of people wrote him off before he even got an opportunity. And the fact that he eclipsed not only what Justin Fields did this year, but his numbers are the best numbers a Bears quarterback has ever had.
Oh, yeah, to be fair,
It's
Jordan Love
funny.
hasn't played football.
And also, it's the shit talking that Bears fans did to Packers fans all
of course,
offseason.
they're rivals. They're gonna talk shit.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I bring it up.
You're not a Packers fan, though. So why do you feel any form of?
But I got into back and forth with Bears fans because I said Jordan Love was
Here's
a good
the
quarterback.
thing. He is a Packers fan.
We give him that nod.
I mean, bro, who else?
I'm a Jordan Love fan.
He is.
In the offseason, I said Jordan Love was going to be a good quarterback, and Bears
right.
Twitter swarmed me, and they was like, this guy is an idiot. Jordan Love's going to be trash.
Yep.
People thought Bears fans thought Jordan Love was going to be trash, and Justin Fields was going to be an MVP candidate. And the fact that the quite opposite, well, not the opposite, because Justin Fields is a good quarterback, but the fact that Jordan Love goes out there and has the best quarterback that a Bears quarterback would ever have is funny. It's hilarious, and it just speaks to the Packers just continue to find quarterbacks. It doesn't matter whether it was Brett Favre, Aaron, Jordan Love, and that's why
he's in the combo already. You're knowing him that
he's
top
a franchise
20 all time.
He's a franchise quarterback. Jordan Love is a franchise quarterback. Like I'm pretty set and clear. He's a franchise quarterback.
Jordan's pretty amazing.
What Can I ask you a question?
I keep increasing what I say. He's good, man. He's great, man. He's amazing.
I'm not pushing back on what you're saying. I'm just asking a question. So I don't want you to get upset. I don't want you to get aggravated. I just want you to answer the question. Last year, me and you took a while to call Jalen Hurts a franchise quarterback. Why? Because he had a stacked team, and he's putting up numbers, but his team was loaded. And then he had to do it in the playoffs for you to anoint him that title. So my question is, why are you anointing Jordan Love that title so soon when we have to see him in the playoffs?
He's not on the stack team.
So direct, just because what he did in the don't you separate the
It's
playoffs?
also in his first year as a starting quarterback, he's been a damn good passer.
Okay.
Jalen's first year starting, he was not that good of a passer.
He also didn't have,
but an elite playmaker.
He didn't have 3 years to watch NFL defenses and study under a quarterback.
But
you need reps.
And,
no, for sure,
and his
100%.
first year starting,
he's been a beast.
He's been OD.
I'm just asking the question.
Well, it goes one, the stacked team, the degree of difficulty that Jordan Love has to operate within is not what Hurts had to do. Hurts had the best offensive line in football, and while I've said the Packers offensive line is solid, they're not run blocking solid. So the Eagles had the best offensive line in football, and they had an elite rushing attack that people credited to Hurts. I think some credit goes to him, but I think 80% of it is just the offensive line being overwhelmingly dominant. And then you have two great receivers, A.J. Brown, who's elite, and Devontae Smith, who's great. Jordan Love does not have that. Like, these up-and-coming players are good. Like, Jaden Reed, we see the potential with him, but they're not there yet. So Jordan Love, with the degree of difficulty that he's had, I think it's been very impressive.
And Aaron Jones missing 5 games?
Mm-hmm. And I think if anything, Jordan Love has been knocked for sitting. Because this is his first year as a starter, people don't give him the credit because they're like, oh, but he's in year 4. It's a
long time.
If he was a rookie, which I know is a different level because, let's say if C.J. Stroud had these numbers, C.J. Stroud is like, we're really talking about him.
Did people not praise Rodgers when he did it?
I don't remember.
I wasn't there.
Oh,
so I don't know.
They definitely praised him.
But all I know is this, and Rodgers went 6-10 that year, so he wasn't even close to making the playoffs.
Yep.
And they went, I think, 1-5 down the stretch. Aaron Rodgers had Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, and Ryan Grant, which was their running back. He had an 1,000-yard rusher. He had 2 1,000-yard receivers. Aaron Rodgers had proven guys on his team. Jordan Love is doing this with, I said it early in the year, it feels like a situation that they didn't really take into account what could have went wrong, but then they started to turn it around. So I don't think he's getting enough credit for what he's doing. I think people are kind of just like, oh, yeah, he's good, but they're not really acknowledging how good he's been. And it's been a lot of the off-platform stuff, but just quarterbacking well, doing things in structure. I think he's been amazing. But, yeah, that just answers your question. It's just the degree of difficulty. And like Drew mentioned, Jalen Hurts took 3 years to develop. His first season, he did sit behind Carson Wentz. And I know Carson Wentz.
I thought it was 2.
No, he played the last 3 games his rookie year.
The second year he started,
Second year started all 16.
Second year he went 16-9, and then third year, that was his breakout year where he was second in MVP voting. So in his third season, second full-time season as starter, he had that season. So, yeah, and then I saw in the playoffs. But I think that Jordan Love, if he gets into the playoffs, would do well.
So you think they're going to win this week?
I think they're going to win this week.
I was going to say, we can't talk all this shit about putting him with Aaron Rodgers.
I think it'll be a great game.
Can't beat Chicago at home.
I still don't know who's going to win that game.
I would be leaning with Green Bay right now. Chicago's defense has been a lot better, but Green Bay, I feel like in the biggest moments they have been stepping up. Those losses against the Giants and the Bucks, not ideal, especially. But I feel like more than anything, it's been that defense. They have moments offensively where they can step up and be like, well, they could have won this game if this happened. But especially that
Chicago?
Bucks game, that's what I was gonna say. That Bucks game, you can't let a 158.3 passer rate in Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, I can't put that on Jordan Love.
Chicago literally could be in the playoffs right now.
What's their record? They have 6 wins or 7?
7.
That defense started to come into fruition just a little bit too late.
They trade for Sweat and
they're not far off.
Sweat's been good.
Really
TJ Edwards has been a dog.
The rookies they picked up, Stevenson, Dexter, they've been good. Darnell, right? They had a good class.
It's a shame, man. That's like a player that the Eagles could use right now. TJ Edwards.
TJ Edwards,
Are you throwing shots?
Yes. But no, it's a deserved shot. He definitely could be well used.
I don't think we could have afforded him.
It's a bad break.
Yeah.
Man,
11 wins.
Sucks. You think the Packers are winning?
No.
Okay.
Pick Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
like that.
Pick them for sure going to Chicago.
I'll be honest, it'll be such a great game.
Who are you going to pick? Because depending on who you pick, I might jinx it and pick the other team.
He's picking the Bears.
I
Well, that's
don't
what
know. I
he's
don't know.
leaning towards them, I think.
I don't know. I really don't.
I would literally activate the pick.
You guys bet against the Packers last week. Do it again.
Minnesota's defense was good, and also I'm an idiot for
I thought I was the only one that
thinking
went
Jaron
Minnesota.
Hall could
No, he just.
play winning
I
football.
went Minnesota because
I thought he could too because of Joe Barry's defense.
Yes, that's really all it
Guys.
was.
If the Packers lose, it's going to be because of the defense.
That's really what it is.
If Jordan Love plays bad and they lose, I will be shocked. And I will
Bears
cry.
defense is good though. He could
I'll
have he could
cry.
struggle.
He could struggle. Yeah, you're
The
right.
Bears'
But
defense
if
is
they
really
just
good.
did that against the Vikings, though,
That's
they
true.
should be able to.
Justin
do some
Fields is
damage
so
on the
far and
Bears.
way better than Jaron
Also,
Hall.
they got embarrassed week 1. I don't know if.
They coming for blood.
Yeah, I think
They
there's
are.
a little bit.
There's
Man,
definitely.
it's seeming
They're
like
much better than
it does
week
seem
one.
like
It's
I'm
also
leading
Fields'
Chicago.
kind of last chance to be like, I'm the guy.
No,
you know.
Wherever he go, bless it to my brother. He gonna be great, man. Him and DJ though, that connection.
I will
is
say
that is elite.
fire.
It does seem
DJ
like
Moore,
I'm trending
pretty
towards Chicago.
Let's do it.
I think I'm in.
Week 1, it's not gonna be the same. They
I
a better
do-
team.
yeah,
than
they
week 2
are.
but
I
Fields-
think I am leading Chicago.
Packers back-to-back years losing.
It would
and
be a
winning
shame
again.
if the guy
That would
he
be
you know
some
the
shit.
guy he was just throwing shots at the
I didn't throw shots at him.
Jordan Love passed all these. It'd be a shame if a Chicago.
You were throwing
quarterback
shots, and the
ends
comments
it
also
all.
saw it.
I wasn't throwing
They
shots.
said the more and more you explained it, the more and more it sounded like
It's
a
not
shot.
throwing shots.
The more you talked about it, the worse it got.
It's the
definitely.
lack of belief in Jordan Love. It was the shots at Jordan Love.
You
and
could
the
have threw
fact
shots
that
at Bears
things just turn around.
media and then not Justin Fields.
Well, I did.
Could have kept it separate.
I didn't say Justin Fields is a bad player.
No, you
Not
just
once.
brought him up, kind of like.
Well, Jordan Love is better than Justin Fields.
See, but then now here we go.
That's not a shot though. That's just an objective
See, but see,
fact.
we didn't have to. We weren't going into that. you
That's
know?
just an objective fact.
Okay,
a
well,
fact.
it'll be a shame if Justin Fields ends your season.
He's not gonna do
Just
that.
like how last year Detroit did it. You know,
He's not gonna do it.
it's written in the stars. Drew,
Talk to me.
a division rival, did it last year.
That's true.
Now they have to play
Imagine.
Chicago. Listen,
Chicago, who Packers have owned.
for sure.
They've
But
owned
wouldn't
them.
it be crazy
It
if
would
on
be.
Justin Fields' last possible game with Chicago, he ends it all? That's all I'm saying. It's a script written here.
You know, it is script written. I think it's aligning
beautiful script.
perfectly with the Packers though.
It
You
might
mentioned
be.
the Bears aren't the same team. The Packers are not the same team either.
Really? Didn't they
The
just,
offense is significantly better now.
the
the defense is
Still better.
worse.
What'd you
I
think?
don't know
Chicago's
about
offense is better.
Defense got better.
Defense is damn good.
Montez Sweat, man.
Significantly better. Montez Sweat him. One of the best moves at the trade deadline. You could argue it's the best.
Jalen Johnson's been cooking since he didn't get paid.
Yo, Jalen Johnson's been OD.
Yeah.
So good that my dad even mentioned him to me.
Really?
That's when you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Dad knows ball, but when it comes to defense, he's got to do his homework. And Jalen Johnson, he threw that name out. I'm like, I see you, Pop.
Hey man, listen, Joel, the script ain't looking too good for Green Bay, man. It just feels like a Chicago script right now.
Well, the Lions was like a Cinderella story, and they were the darling of the NFL. People
still-
kind of forgotten about the Bears this
Huh?
year.
I haven't forgotten, baby.
I'm saying
like
people. Everybody said it was gonna break out. It was gonna make the playoffs, and
Well, they
that,
got
that
to
all
7 wins.
I
died.
said they got off to a slow start. People died off that quick.
Yeah, for sure.
And they got
Listen,
hurt.
a couple choke jobs, they really could have 9 wins right now.
Yeah, that Denver game.
Denver, that's really the one that's
Yeah.
like,
Man,
You know?
they're already lit. Win or lose, they're good.
Yeah,
They got the
They're
number
actually
one overall
beautiful.
pick.
they're beautiful.
They have one of the brightest
talent.
futures.
First overall pick, 2 top 10 picks,
And you know they have
money,
the Panthers. Panthers blessed them.
fleece.
They
They gave
fleeced.
DJ Moore. He's about to break the record for most yards.
1,300, 8 touchdowns,
I
career
tried
high.
to tell you, you slept with him too. You guys
did.
picked Deontay Johnson over.
But I was here
Deontay
this year. I knew he'd play well this
Stop.
year. I did.
You don't get a pass.
He was on my fantasy football team. He just won a
That doesn't give
championship.
you a pass because he's on your fantasy football
Why?
team. What the fuck?
I believed in him.
Nah,
If I didn't
man.
believe him, I wouldn't draft him.
I think you only drafted him out of necessity, and he was just there.
It's not,
Yeah, I know.
he was the first receiver I took.
Yes.
He was great. It was a home
He
run
was great.
fucking pick.
He was great for you guys, man.
I hope that Christian Watson and Dontavian Wicks play.
They're not
I-
gonna play.
I think they need that.
They're banged
They,
up.
well, they didn't play last week. They're
Yo,
hurt,
guys,
but,
don't
yeah.
be surprised when you see me in a CMC jersey. I'm just letting you know now.
A Niners
I
one?
ordered it already.
A Niners one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went back to back with CMC as my guy. Had to buy it.
You know what?
Am I wrong?
Should donate to his charity, bro.
I think I might still do that.
Given this fucking NFL.
So what bets have we
Monopoly
had
more
this
money.
NFL season? I don't think I had any with Dehls this year.
We had
I
one,
had
but it
20.
flopped.
I don't remember what y'all, but I had 20 on Lamar MVP.
We had Ritter and we had Sam.
Mm-hmm.
That got X'd out with
Ritter's benching.
with Tyquan Thornton and Romeo Dobbs.
So Tyquan
Thornton.
and Romeo X's out
You
the
guys are
Ritter
crazy
Howell
for
bet.
betting.
Because I won
Right.
and then you won. Because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
won
yeah.
with Romeo. Then you're winning with Jordan Love. I've accepted defeat, 100% loss. And then If you want to count the Giants one.
50% of the Giants won.
25 because I gave you 100% of last year.
That's fair. Take that.
I'll take that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm mad that Riv here and I canceled the Justin Fields.
That was bullshit.
You were gonna really try to rob me. Like it was insane. You was just like gonna just allow that.
How about 25%?
On what?
You give him
What was it?
25%.
No, we already
What was
canceled
the
it.
bet?
Oh, okay.
It was more. What was it?
Was that the
Touchdowns.
touchdowns, completion percentage, all those shits?
Yeah, I think so.
Joe, you had a good year money-wise with me.
I know.
History has been opposite, but you got yours this year.
And I won the fantasy championship, and I'm in the
I
second
gotta
week of
figure,
ours.
How much is
200.
I just
No. How much is the Big Ten league we did?
200.
Didn't we
$200.
send the money?
Each?
No.
that's
No,
what
no,
I'm
the
saying.
pool, the
20
pool.
each.
20
Yeah.
each.
That's what I was
Yes.
We sent the money in already, right?
Yeah, that's why he just won $200.
Oh, yeah,
Is
yeah.
what he's saying.
I just want to bet.
Oh, we already sent the bread in.
Yeah.
I just won.
forgot. I was about something.
I won a bet with somebody. They said Chicago win 7 games. I got that one in. I won another bet on Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. So I won a few of those bets. I made some solid money.
I would've made a good bet.
Somebody told me Tampa was gonna win out.
Broncos 6 wins.
So had to cash
Good
in.
W there.
That was an easy one, I'll be honest.
You guys,
I'll be honest, you guys started losing right after that. It really
We won
pissed
8
me off.
wins. 8 games.
You're at 8 right now?
8 and 8.
It was so close right there.
It was a
So
very
close.
bad bet for Riv to
Justin
make. bro.
Herbert was.
It was a
healthy,
bad
they'd
bet
probably
for you to
lose
make.
7 wins.
Josh Allen.
Like
they
I would have
just started doing
probably
some
cut
bullshit.
it
6
clean at like 8. Like 6 was really low.
I'll be honest, he got lucky.
Who?
Nah, 6 was
Buffalo started.
You said it when they had like 5 wins or 4 wins.
It was at 4. Then Buffalo did some.
And they needed 2.
Buffalo started
more.
acting crazy.
Okay, we still won
lost.
2 more games than what you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you didn't win the Buffalo game,
And Jarrett Stidham played some good
Justin
football.
Herbert plays.
Fuck out of here. We beat the Packers and we beat the Chiefs. All before we beat
The Chiefs also playing like shit at the wrong time. Really
We
fucked
smoked
me
them.
mentally. Honestly, you just got lucky. You got had that though.
I didn't know. I didn't get lucky.
We
It
have
was
a
easy.
we have a Hawks Bulls bet.
I
Don't
know.
forget that.
I know.
Chicago's thriving. We
They
just
are
beat Philly.
thriving, and I'm happy for them. Honestly,
No. Get ready to say my.
I know. I know you probably hate to see me, not be mad to lose a bet.
I just hate to
but I'm
see us win.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
The Hawks are bad.
I told you that.
What the fuck?
They're a great offense though.
I know.
It's weird.
We had this conversation already. Makes no sense.
Predicting the final playoff spots in the AFC and NFC. Number 1 for me, the Ravens, of course. I mean, it's not predicting. They already got it locked up. Number 2, I got the Bills. Chiefs, Jaguars locked in at 3 and 4. 5 Browns are locked in. Dolphins at 6, and then I got Texans at 7.
We have the same.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. Except I have Miami.
Does everybody have the same?
But do you have
playoff
Buffalo
bracket?
getting in though?
Yeah. Buffalo should get it. I don't think.
So you think Pittsburgh will lose?
Baltimore could win that game?
They're probably going to sit everybody, though. They don't have to, play.
They legitimately.
I still wouldn't be surprised. Division game. They're just like, hey, let's screw these guys out of the
Who's
playoffs.
their backup? Baltimore.
Tyler Huntley.
Huntley?
Or they're like,
Yeah,
I'd rather
almost beat
face the
Cincy.
Steelers and the
Don't
Bills.
forget. That means Bills will be a 7 seed.
Even though the Steelers have beat them, they have the Ravens number.
I know.
They do.
Yeah.
Lamar's like 1 and 4.
Well,
against
they
them?
won because they dropped 17 passes.
Mm-hmm.
So Bills
Uh,
will be a 7 seed in that predicament.
No, if they
They'd
win,
be-
the
they'd
wild
be-
card, they'd be
if
5,
they're-
right?
How
if they
do
don't
that'd be
win the
six.
How
Steelers,
do the
you're six.
Bills miss?
Steelers,
If the
have to
Steelers
win.
win,
Just the Steelers. But then
Yes.
what about the Texans
They
and
have,
the Colts?
they have the
the
tiebreaker.
Steelers have the tiebreaker over those teams.
But I'm saying for the Bills, they already have 10 wins.
The Steelers have the tiebreaker over the Bills.
No, the Bills have the tiebreaker over the Texans and the Colts. I think.
Because the Bills right now are the
They're 10 and
6th seed,
6.
aren't they?
Texans get either one has to get 10 wins. They both can't get 10 wins.
Okay. Because
The
I already
Bills
know they already have 10. Bills have
I think
10.
Bills have the.
Colts and Texans, one of them will eliminate each other.
Understood.
So that's where that comes from.
Because one of those two teams will have 10 wins also.
Yeah.
Got it. Because they're
So,
sitting at 9 and 7.
Looking at the record right now, the division or the conference record,
Oh, the Knicks won.
the Steelers have a 6-5 conference
Big
record.
W.
The Bills are 6-5. If they lose to the Dolphins, they'll be 6-6. If the Steelers win, they'll be 7-5. The Colts have a 7-4 conference record, but if they lose to the Texans, they'll have a 7-5 conference record. And didn't the Steelers beat the Colts head to head, or
Yes.
did the
Yes,
Colts?
they did. Steelers beat
Okay.
the Colts.
So that's why they would have that advantage, and then the Texans would be just eliminated by default.
Damn, so when Miami wins, Bills are cooked.
Unless Steelers lose.
Mm.
But that's
The
why we
Bills
all
need
think-
the Steelers to lose for
The
them.
Bills
to
need
get
to
in.
win. Like this isn't we got to think about. They need to win.
The Steelers also get in with a win and I think a Bills or Jags loss,
Jags, yeah.
and the Jaguars are facing the Titans.
Mhm.
Texans and Colts both get in. If I think the Jaguars lose, or they get the division.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken,
Yep.
they get the division if one of them win and then the Jaguars lose.
Jaguars
Praying on the
definitely should
Panthers.
win.
Win.
No, you're saying Titans win.
The Titans
So
will
even
guess.
if you got the Dolphins winning the game, you think the Bills still make the playoffs?
That'll be a good ass game. Tyler Huntley's definitely not a bad backup.
beat
Can
the
do a
Bengals,
good
don't
enough
forget.
job.
He's a Pro Bowler.
Also going to be interesting
he?
to see. He is. It's also going to be interesting to see what happens
was
with their
crazy,
defense
bro.
if they're actually going to
That's
start
like-
or sit a bunch.
It's like Malik Monk making the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think Buffalo still can make it.
League Monk's better.
Okay.
He is. I was just trying to think of a
Would be
backup.
heartbreaking for the league. I want the Bills to make it.
I want
so.
Houston to get the division, so I'm praying on the Titans to have a masterclass.
In the NFC, I got the Niners, Cowboys, Lions, Bucks, Eagles, Rams, Packers.
Okay.
So yeah, I think the Packers win 2 and the rest. Yeah.
If you got the Packers losing,
You're right. That's
Yeah.
why.
that means you probably got the Seahawks,
Seahawks.
getting in.
Here we go, Drew.
I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I
Packers,
want that. I think I'd
Cowboys,
rather
round
see the
one.
Packers.
Me too.
Shit,
I'd
I
rather
don't
see
know
the
what, I don't know
Packers.
what would be worse, the Packers win or Cowboys win.
So wait, let me ask you: if the Seahawks lose
They're out.
They
and
can't
the
get in.
Packers lose,
They
The
can't get in.
Seahawks are out
Seahawks
but
need
the
to win.
Packers are in.
because the Packers had the tiebreaker over them.
Seahawks need to win, brother man. Who they play?
Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
Okay, it's a winnable game.
Possible.
Possible lose. Kyler's out for blood, so
yes, he's tweaking.
I still think the Bears are gonna win though. So
31, huh?
Seattle's in for me.
Okay. All right.
We're here.
God, I do think the Bears can win the game. I really do.
The tiebreaker's fucking me up because I do want to see Green Bay in the playoffs.
I
really do,
want to
but
see Green Bay. Here's the thing: I think Green Bay gets in regardless.
You can't.
I think Arizona beats
Oh,
them.
we're here. Okay, we're here. I like
think
that.
Arizona beats them.
beats Seattle. We're here. Both things.
I hope
can
you
be
guys
true.
pick that in your pick 'em as
We
well.
will.
I am.
Okay, cool.
We-
Well,
When
it's-
have I ever not
I'm
stood 10?
Actually, I'm not worried about you guys. I'm worried about Dehls.
He's
What
a
I
loose
do?
cannon.
he's a fraudulent man.
What I do?
He's a flip.
because they're going with the Cardinals to beat the Seahawks this
We are
week.
more go with our vibe picks.
And they're going with the Bears over the Packers.
We are going with our vibe picks, and that's why I've dropped
I already
down to
started
your
picking the
territory. On the
Packers.
pick.
Where's that
That's it.
Seattle game?
When you go with the vibe
Seattle.
picks, you drop.
I
I'm
think
not a
it's
viber. I'm not a viber,
If it's in
apparently.
Seattle, I would take Seattle.
Dehls thought I was lying when you go with vibe picks and pick them. You drop.
No, it's at Arizona.
You drop.
Mm.
You fall off. And Drew, you fell off.
On what?
You're at 152 wins. You're right there with
Because
me.
I went too
Honestly,
much
you're
vibes.
gonna finish last.
I'm an idiot. I should have
I'm
went
gonna-
more. I should have done what Dehls does. Open
He
up,
thinks with
open
his
up
brain.
DraftKings. Who's a favorite? Got it. All right, we're good.
I want to let y'all know if Drew finishes last, he fall off, man.
Conversations.
Yeah, conversations need to be had, bro.
I told you I had bigger
I've been
fish to
last
fry. I
all
was trying to
year.
win fantasy
I've
championships.
been last all year. If you finish last, you're done, bro.
I agree.
Conversations need to be had.
All right,
Technically,
so then-
you were up a little bit because of your bias picks.
Oh, because all the Bears picks to start off the year.
You picked them against the Chiefs.
I did.
We
I
told
did.
you, we were like, we wouldn't hold it against you, bro.
Nah, I did. It's all right though. It's all right because at one point I was really close, and then life just died after that.
When it was like 30 to 29.
Don't worry, bro. Fantasy football's
Nah, I think it was
over.
like
So I'm hitting the
70s. I
lab
was
this
close
week.
to the 70s. Huh?
Fantasy football's done.
You gonna make a 10-game comeback this week?
I'm not winning.
I would literally pick every pick you pick just cause.
Well, I'm
just
not-
tie?
Yeah, just
I'm
to
just-
tie.
so
I
then,
swear to God,
with
I'd
that
do
being
it.
said, Joel, he said this now. He has to give every pick first.
Split it.
Okay.
I can
You're
just give him a
cooked.
text message
No,
and just switch up.
no,
Like,
you're not switching.
Yes,
You're
he
not
asks me.
switching.
He literally asks me.
Santos controls it already. He's keeping it sound. Whatever he hears on the podcast is locked.
I can't come.
We're
in
really
this week.
trusted Santos' word with God, too, because I did not go back and check. I'm just like, like, if you say so.
It's
He
all right.
wasn't counting the Monday Night Football win because he counts it sometimes after Sunday. So I
Oh,
think
yeah, I usually tweet him Sundays because I
Mhm.
want to get, because
so on one of the weeks because he had me at one less win than I had. I was like, bro, the Seahawks beat the Eagles. Like that's one win for me.
Well, I'm up 5 on you right now.
Yeah.
157.
now
You
it's
need a
fine.
generational week to get.
No,
to
yeah.
get that number
I
one.
know me and Dell's gonna pick like almost every team the same.
Last 2 weeks, my brain's turned to go. I don't know what the hell's
That's
going
why I said it's the playoffs. That's gonna be
Well, he
separated
gets
because
the
the
MVP
playoffs
for sure
is
for
probably
the
gonna
regular
be
season.
Yeah, he's the regular season MVP. Joel Embiid, and then
Oh shit!
playoffs.
Calling Joel Embiid is
We'll see.
nuts.
Even though last year, you were Jokic last year.
Facts.
he was Jokic in the playoffs.
He won last year.
In the playoffs, I had the best
Wait,
record.
was he? Because I
Yeah.
picked the Chiefs.
I was
in
a
Super
game
Bowl.
under. Well, he still had the best
No, he had the
overall
best
record.
record. You
Wait,
got
are
the
we
Super
going
Bowl
best
win.
record or Super Bowl pick?
Best
It was
record.
usually
Best
best
record.
Has to be
record.
best record, but I picked you. Didn't you pick the Bengals in the AFC Championship?
I did.
I
I
thought
think
I
I
was
was.
the only-
I think I was undefeated up to that point.
I think
You
I
was.
was the only person to pick the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship.
Yep.
So I don't know.
picked the
I don't
Chiefs.
even know my
I picked the
record.
Chiefs in
But I
the,
also
AFC
picked the
Championship.
Cowboys to beat the Bucks.
I don't know.
I didn't pick him in the Super Bowl for sure though.
I was one
Oh,
game
of course.
under.
And I picked
Joel.
the, I
Feel
picked the
that.
Jags too. I think you guys were on the Chargers for those.
Fuck no.
Oh yeah, facts.
I'll pick Jags. I don't pick the Chargers ever.
No.
No, they suck, bro.
I mean, it was looking smooth sailing.
It was.
So it fucking wasn't.
You know,
And
the
then we all
Chargers are
picked the
going to
Eagles
charge.
against the Giants. There's just one person that picked the Giants.
All right, let's wrap this up. I got a game to watch.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Pick Aside Podcast, episode 338. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick Aside Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.